Welcome back to the SterlingCast. This is a very special episode because we got new equipment. At least Brendel and I did. Boston's still rocking the iPhone 3 of gear. Just kidding. He's got a good mic. But that being said, I'll introduce our two guests. Their typical guests, Mr. Boston.
Hello.
And Brickson. This is a interesting podcast because I'm actually having some trouble pulling up coherent thoughts because of what kind of happened here about 8 minutes ago before we shot this. But anyway, we'll try and get through the basic, things. We'll clown and Rick Ungar a bit, and then we'll hop on into the topic. So, with that being said, any of y'all got some interesting ideas?
I got one.
Yeah, you're staring at the LED lights. I got one, but...
What about these new LEDs, Jack?
Yeah. I'm sure you listeners realize right away we're in a different setup. Perhaps you notice I'm very close to the microphone, right in your ear, snuggling up.
Getting all close.
Touching cheeks.
All intimate.
Yeah, but... So we're in a new setup. The first setup is the one with the very bad mics. And that we were just the three of us sitting on two of us on a couch, one of us on a chair. Our last setup was around a square table, and this time we're in a triangular setup so we can all look at each other better. And behind me, I don't get to experience it very well, but there's now LED strips running underneath my corner desks, and then there's two big LEDs that light up the corner of the room where we film.
Oh, these LEDs can change color, can't they?
Yes, these LEDs can change color,
phone?
as we were demonstrated. Yeah. Yeah, these are by Genie, the wonderful app Genie you can download on your phone. But don't log into my house or I'll be scared. Hope one of you didn't log into my house recently. That would be freaky deaky. But yeah, you can log in, make your own house.
I got the higher end Philips Hue.
Well,
$44 a bulb, boy.
what app do you use to control your Philips Hue?
The Apple of light change or color changing lights.
You paid $42 for one bulb.
Oh, I didn't.
I paid $19.88 for Deuce. And if I want another one for the big overhead, it's like $10 more, and I get the whole room rigged up. These LEDs down here were more expensive than those two. What do you think about that, huh?
I don't know. They change colors.
If that turns to orange, I'm going to flip out. Let me just say.
I'm not even touching my phone. Just
I had my hands up during that. I was like, not me. We'll explain that in just a second. But before we explain that, this is where we would do a word from our sponsors if we had one.
That's amazing that the Fairly Odd Parents memes. Yeah. This is where I put my sponsorship if I had one.
If Mercury, the light company, wants to sponsor, us, hit me up, dog. I'll take it. Buffalo Wild Wings, we'll take a sponsorship. Ferrari, we'll take a sponsorship. Adidas, y'all can't see. I'm wearing an Adidas tracksuit jacket. Rolex,
been to Russia one time.
One time. I've been to Russia one time, sinking in. I've never actually been to Russia. I've been to Florida, which is a whole different country.
Might as well be.
I feel like I'm talking very much. My mind's going very quickly because of orange lights.
Because of orange light gate.
But instead of a sponsorship, we have to explain something. Episodes are supposed to come out every Tuesday. They went Tuesday, the next Friday, and now we're like 2 weeks later. What had happened was we were going to film up. This one day it didn't work out. Or actually, last time we had the video ready on like Tuesday, but Brickson would like to explain his cats.
I had my computer set up, the screen up just a tiny bit,
just a little hair
angle, if you will.
Just and a little
my
bit.
Cat had the audacity to step on it 2 nights in a row and closing it, so stopping the uploading process.
So it finally uploaded Thursday night instead of Monday night, and I made it public Friday morning, and it was called the Sterling Cat because I'm an idiot. I have 2 brain cells, and they were focused on
the
changing lights that I wanted to buy. Going to Walmart and blowing 1988 on 2 bulbs, and $3 on a hook for my headphones. Yeah. I'm just sitting here glancing at these lights like one of them turns red.
Sure they don't do anything funky.
I'm glancing at them.
So I'm getting
we'll get into that. We will get into that. I'm sure the viewers have either turned it off because it sounds like we're clickbaiting, or they've just on the edge of their seat. Let me slither into the table one more time. grab some more water, and you calm down. But then this last week, one of us, Boston, was out of commission for 6 days because he was out at not in a bad way, didn't break a leg or anything. He was just having fun.
I was on vacation for the holiday.
He was on a holiday vacation for 4th of July.
Holiday.
The rest of us were grounded.
Grounded watching Stranger
I'm on the no-fly list. No, yeah, we're watching Stranger Things, and I was at the lake for a day and doing other things. So we were like, Brixton and I were like, we could do a podcast, but it would just be us, and we don't want to leave out, the man, the myth, the legend who found Rick Ungar, so we just postponed it until we could all be here. Or found Peter Kane, sorry. But yeah, once we were all able to meet up again, we did it. Here we are, coming with you with another episode. We'll try to get these out more frequently. But yeah, so that's explaining when this is uploading. Mm-hmm. Probably on Saturday.
Sure.
Edit that out to be... Okay, here's what we're going to do. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One of those you keep as a soundbite. Or you keep all of them and people think I'm an idiot.
Well, I think we should explain why we're all flustered right now.
Yeah, so... I guess I can jump because I own the lights and I can probably best explain how they work. You can maybe jump in because you may know the technology better.
You might know the technology pretty good.
You might know the technology quite well. You probably could just straight up go, pew, turn my whole house off. So the way smart bulbs work, this whole smart tech, like smart doorbell takes videos and wakes you up and says there's a burglar at your house wearing a Freddy Krueger mask. All that stuff. I don't have a smart doorbell, so feel free to break into my house.
Ding dong. Time for you to wait.
Ding dong, time you get out of bed. I don't have a smart alarm, but I have a dock that wakes me up to like Sir Mix-a-Lot or something.
Come in?
What?
You a doctor coming?
Get up. I went to the dentist the other day.
I'm not a doctor.
He's almost a doctor coming. That dentist woke up, like, took the needles, like, get out of bed. Filled the needle in my eye.
I got some get up juice.
My brother went to the dentist, and they were like, oh, we're gonna put one like. Obviously, audio listeners are going to get the best experience of this one. They're putting here, here, and here. Like, I'm demonstrating on the right incisor and whatever. And then he said his nose was numb.
My doctor comes in dentist. Whenever I'm getting, tooth pulled every Friday, he comes in, just soy sauce in the mouth, in my gums. I don't even know if it
my dentist, I said I got my wisdom teeth removed. He said,
I know.
That's my dentist. Oh, I got my wisdom teeth open wide. Shot some soy sauce in them sockets.
Your dentist Asian? What? Your dentist Asian?
Oh,
he shot some blazing Buffalo Wild Wing sauce right deep in them dry sockets. Get moisture going.
I just burned.
Oh.
My mouth is like the pits of hell.
This is going to be something that I'm sure you're all going to enjoy talking about. Y'all two have still got your wisdom teeth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had mine out.
Causing me pain.
The oral surgeon was like, we guys slap these babies out, and here's a nice little bill.
I don't think, last time I was at that dentist, they never talked about my wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
They were just focused on my other bad teeth.
I think mine was more that, like, mine were, like, impacted, so they were going to cause, and my parents were like, we spent tons of money on braces. We're not going to let this get screwed up by your dumb teeth growing in sideways. Yeah.
But braces are only your wisdom teeth.
They braced my wisdom teeth, just crank them up. Who's that kid you're talking about who had 4 cranks in a day? Wait, did we already talk about that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess we're back to... Anyway, 7:30 a.m., your smart dentist doorbell comes walking in. Hey, buddy, you gotta go to work. Gotta go flip them burgers. You gotta go Krusty Krab.
How do we go from talking about lights to dentist?
I can... Okay. Also... I might be very close to the microphone. Part of that's because I can't move. Like I'm getting I'm a little antsy thinking back to the experience we encountered. I'm just twisted in the chair. My shoulders are popping around.
You keep referencing the experience. You should tell them what happened.
I'm building the hype, Jaden, or Mr. Dawson. Sorry, we doxed him.
Antsy for more.
Hold on, let me just take a sip of my water.
Me as well.
I don't have water.
Well, some kids don't like hydration, huh?
Who doesn't like a croy here?
I was in Washington, D.C., and I was walking. You guys weren't. But I was in Washington, D.C. without you guys.
Walking.
D.C.?
I was in D.C., yeah. I was walking down the street, and there were some guys selling bottled water. And they're like, water is ice cold. And this guy's dancing around and stuff.
Cold is double
He's like,
ice
it's
cold.
$1 per bottle or whatever. And then they had the best chance. I think one of them was, don't let dehydration ruin the vacation. And people from my group, because we were there for like a tour group, and they're like, oh, here's the Washington Monument. These guys had set up somewhere downtown. I think it was right by Pennsylvania Avenue. And they were doing that, and all of a sudden some security, they saw some like DC police walking up, and then they're like, oh, shoot. They just packed everything up and just ran. They left some of the water behind.
And it's probably not suitable. Or,
I think they were following us, because we saw them at the Smithsonian.
Make sure you were good and hydrated.
We saw him at the Smithsonian, and like 10 of us and then when the police like basically raided it and they ran, our bus driver was like, oh, you guys want water? Oh, cool, I'm selling water. And so our bus driver, Bo,
Everyone sells water.
as we call him, Bad Boy Bo, Triple B, his boy Bo, he was a pretty cool dude. He was always like, hey man, I got $1 of water. Underneath he had like a Baltimore accent.
Sell anything.
He's like, he had this Baltimore. He has Baltimore accent. He's like, hey, I got I'm probably butchering the Baltimore accent, so I won't do it anymore.
Baltimore Bowl.
Yeah, Baltimore. He was like, I got bottles of water under the car, dollar bottle. $1 bottle. I said, no thanks, sir. I'm fine with my Coke.
I'm fine. I'm finding this scorching heat. I'd like a nice sugary Coke.
I'm dehydrated.
I'm gonna get a water.
Are you picking up on that reference?
From Florida.
From when we were in Florida and I kept buying Cokes every day.
Yeah, I had like, it was me and Jack walking. He was like getting all woozy. I was like, Jack, you want water? He's like, no, I kind of want ice cream. So he gets ice cream. And it's like, that didn't help. We go eating. He's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get a water this time. Me, Gavin, order our food. I get a water. Gavin gets a water. Jack, yeah, I like a burger. What would you like to drink? I got Coke.
Just instinctually.
You can't order water, can you? Get a little cross.
I was talking to someone very close to me, and
He's close to all of us. He's on the Wi-Fi.
He was on the Wi-Fi. Peter Kane.
It's a squinch.
I think you could control these from like 600 miles away.
I'm sure it's connected to the cloud.
Yeah, some guy could probably be in Russia Strip, like these kids want red.
We're talking
Some
about the
guy
lights again, by the way.
Lights, cameras, action. Hollywood Studios.
The best park. Have you ever been to Florida?
No.
You snapping your fingers? Who you
I
think
don't
you are,
wanna go
Iron
to
Man?
Florida.
Dude, the Aerosmith ride?
Yes.
60 in 2 seconds. Three
That-
times.
No, it's
doesn't
is it
sound
2
pleasant.
seconds?
It's fun.
It's
Yeah,
the
2
same
seconds.
speed as the Tesla Roadster gets 0
Uh-huh.
to 60. I think it's like
That
2.9
doesn't sound
actually,
pleasant to me, I
3.9.
must say.
What?
I thought it was 2 on that on because it's it uses magnets.
Yeah, it does. It uses like
It's
electromagnetic.
Like a railgun, but
It's like a
ride.
It's like a bullet train. It's like shoo.
It's like a bullet.
Hang on, Tesla Roadster 0 to 60. Oops, I just wrote text in my phone in my computer.
That's a Jaden. It's a fun ride.
It doesn't sound
You
fun.
need to go on. Yes, it is, Jaden.
I'm a little bit freaked out. I just said Tesla Roadster 0 to 60. Wrote in TAE.
My screen turned green.
My screen turned orange. I wrote in TES, and the Tesla Roadster 0 to 60 is the second result.
I bet that some people.
Yeah, 1.9 seconds. So it's about 2 seconds
Yeah.
for both of them. Actually, the Tesla might be faster than that ride.
Well, the ride's not a Tesla. It's a magnet that shoots you.
Yeah, but the magnets.
Makes it real fast. Makes you go loop de loop maybe once or twice.
You know what else magnets do you keep shrapnel in your heart if your name is Tony Stark and you're Iron Man?
You got Steven Tyler screaming in your ear. Waggle.
Oh, that's
If only the magnets could protect
I got a
you from
gripe.
Infinity Stones.
Guys, I got a gripe. Don't worry, we'll get to the smart doorbell thing. But I got a gripe. You know this guy who's real famous for going like,
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think the guy's very funny. He's very talented. But I just like to say I did it 3 months before that. And I got
Florida?
no credit
Same
for
trip,
it.
actually.
I got no credit. In Florida, I walked off a bus and I pulled the phone out. It was probably March or April or whatever. And I get off the bus and I go,
Jack, show the video. It'll sound like it's
Oh,
older
should
than
I-
the
should I-
actual guy's video.
oh, should I?
It sounds older.
They'll know it's older because they'll see in my camera roll. It's from February 3rd or whenever that was.
Just have them send you the picture, the video. You can overlay it.
Oh, you should put this in the podcast. The picture of the semi heading straight for us.
I mean, the semi had several bullet holes in it.
Yeah, that.
Who wants to tell that
was
story?
A day. We were driving back here to film the podcast, and we noticed there was a semi in front of us, but facing backwards.
It was being
And
towed.
as we got closer, we realized it was being towed. And then we went to a street light. It went under a street light, and we noticed the windshield had several bullet holes.
Multiple bullet holes.
So
It may have been rocks, but it sure looked like bullet holes.
Yeah.
hope what
100%.
happened to the driver, he's fine.
He's driving the same truck.
Yeah. All I know
He was
is
towing himself.
I was half paying attention because, number one, I was driving, and number two, I was still recovering from what I'd eaten at B-Dubs and Cold Stone Creamery round 2. I'm still recovering now. I almost had a heart
still not
attack
good.
because there was so much things in my system plus the scare earlier. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
We need to, you keep saying we're going to get to them. We never get to go off on different tangents.
This is going to be... Have you guys ever watched... what is it? There's the... I think the episode's called The Most Pointless Story Ever Told of the SourceFed Podcast.
No.
Mike Falzone, very funny comedian, and Steve Zergo's also a very funny comedian, are telling this story about when they went to... you've seen this, I'm sure. But when they go to the was it slime joke?
Was it slime?
What was that, slime? And so they're all their friends go Harry Potter World. They're like, screw Harry Potter World. I don't even watch a single movie. So they go and they look at, like, they go on a Despicable Me ride. And so they're telling the story, and it takes them the whole podcast to tell the story. And so that's all I'm saying is, hey, if we can get to this thing by the midway point of this podcast, people are going to love it. We're just friends jiving.
Just jiving.
Just jiving. I feel like we've dropped 8 topics in so far on accident.
I don't think any of
But-
them were topics. These just tangents.
It was just tangents. Just tangents.
Just
I went
going off on
to, I
random
got a
stories.
Corsair mouse pad that smells like fish food.
Fish oil.
I'm gonna putting some Mountain Dew voltage on there.
It was a yikes of a smell.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool, Corsair or Razor? I'll go with the Corsair. And then I was in the car. I was like, as a goof, I was like, I'm gonna smell this thing. It'll be funny. And I go, ooh, no. I just walked up.
Just dropped in the lake.
Ooh, I got dropped in a fish tank.
Speaking of fish, in the parking lot of my work, there's just a dead fish. It's like probably 100 feet from a lake, but it was a northern pike.
You should tell people.
There.
How big?
Like this big?
They might have put it in like the back of a truck, and then might just like.
Wait, so
People don't park there besides
So-
employees.
So I know where you work.
Employee, maybe get hungry.
I don't think very
Bring
many
it in and
people
put it on a
are gonna be
pizza.
So
just there.
so I know where you work. So it's like at the edge of the parking lot or like in the middle.
Well, we don't
Or, like-
park around the building
Yeah.
itself. There's like we have to walk down a highway and then there's.
Oh,
like,
so
a
yeah,
separate
you
parking
guys are. You're talking about the other park.
Yes, we're talking
Yeah,
about
the
the
place
other-
where you guys park.
Yeah,
That's even farther.
There's a fish there, and we're like, I don't know why.
Yeah,
Fish
I was
on
like,
for legs.
I was like, okay, it could like
All I remember
go.
is I was
Did you
walking.
check it for legs?
No, it's dead. I was walking.
Make sure you
and
walk
Got
it
no
through.
legs.
You make sure when fish get legs, small step to reading and then global domination.
You know, I didn't notice it was there, and I was walking, and I was looking ahead, and all of a sudden I hear this bzzz, and I looked down, and there's a swarm of flies coming at me, and I was like, what the hell is happening?
I'm googling something that's gonna put my mind to rest.
Speaking of spooky things that happened at coming back from work, because of the flies.
Fly, Lord of
It
Flies.
was a few days before the 4th. Me and this is kind of a name drop. Caleb, you know Caleb.
Ooh.
Caleb, right? Well,
Yeah.
we
Don't say
were
his
we
last
both
name.
whatever. You can
Okay.
bleep it. We were
was
both
fine.
we both got off at the
Oh,
same
same
time.
Caleb on the ride. He dipped out last second.
Yeah,
on the
he's
ride.
yeah,
The door
Caleb.
was closing. He's like, oh, you know.
Caleb, I'm gonna let our 3 listeners know that you left the Aerosmith ride in the last room.
But
You're also a cool dude. We go golfing a lot, so yeah.
I don't go golfing.
But,
so I don't say nothing.
we both got off at the same time. It was like 11:30 that night.
Yeah.
Pitch black out. He walks ahead of he's walking ahead of me, heading to that parking lot I was talking about with the fish.
Did he leave the fish?
No.
Pick up the fish?
But we were walking, and across
Did he make
from
friends with the fish?
across from the
Fish have
parking
legs.
across from the parking lot, there's like a field. You know that?
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like a
the
field. And there's
field,
the
yeah.
house right over there, but there's like a field,
Mm-hmm.
and he was ahead of me, probably 20 feet, and he just stops, looks in the field, then looks at me, and I'm like, oh, maybe he is waiting for me to show up, so he, like catch up, so he can talk to me or whatever. And as I get closer, he's like, did you see that? And I was like, no. I thought maybe there was an animal park in like the field. I get closer, he's like, there was a dude just standing in that field, and then when he saw me, he just took off running. And we were just like, whoa. I was like, what? He's
That's
he's like,
He's
yeah.
a fish bandit.
That's
He's
like your-
fish everywhere.
That's like your story when you were looking for Jordan. And
oh, yeah. I went, okay.
We were
This
spooked.
kid named Jordan. I forgot something in his car, so I decided to go to his house, and there were 2 cars that looked exactly the same. It's one his car, one some other guy's car. So I go up to the first car. I look in the window, and this dude pops out. And I'm like, hey, do you know Jordan Hopkins? He looks at me. Dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he walks into the woods and doesn't come back out.
Oh my god! But yeah, like
he was stoned out of his mind. Just
completely
like,
gone.
He was standing there, and I guess he was close enough that he could hear him. He's like, he was breathing heavily, and then just ran. And I
he must have been on.
I was like, he's like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. And I was like,
Chase
that's
after him.
spooky. I didn't see the dude, but he's like, he was there. I was like,
fish?
I'm just like, oh, that's kind of scary.
Hey man, you need an inhaler?
Hey man, yo, you good? You have an asthmatic?
Asthmatic?
Yeah,
Hey, you trying to get the plants?
He's trying to get out of the beans.
Look, it's not legal to garden. It's 2019. Get antibiotics now.
Can't even collect water in some states.
Yeah, you don't collect your rainwater in Colorado. The government's gonna come slamming down on you. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh well. I've got to have some kind of story like that. I don't know. There's one out there rolling around somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
a spooky story?
A little bit of a spooky story. Aside from the one that we're building to, I guess. That's probably definitely like the most believable thing I've gone through.
Well, if we're going towards the more paranormal end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I've had a couple interesting experiences in my house since I've moved out here.
Mm-hmm.
One of which was probably a few days after we moved in, because I remember it was before I had a bed set up, so I was sleeping on the floor in like the family room thing in the basement by myself with a cat. The cat was sleeping on the ground next to me.
Well, that's good.
But
that's
I was
good.
scared. I was sleeping. He wasn't scared at all. But I was sleeping, and I remember I just woke up, and then it was like 1, 2 in the morning. No one's awake.
Mm-hmm.
I hear my name clear as day. And it wasn't like I thought I heard it. It was someone said my name loud enough and clear enough that I actually responded thinking it was someone talking to me. And then I heard nothing else. I do have like, that's weird.
I do have a story kind of like that. I was here home alone because I was probably a couple years ago or whatever, because, you know, Emma, everybody was out in Fargo for whatever reason. I think they were going to see like Captain Marvel, so that was
your house?
What?
Did Marv try to break into your house?
No, they might. It was probably like the most recent instance of this was when they went to see Captain Marvel, and I was like, oh, I watched it a few days ago, and so I was like, oh, I'll just stay here for whatever reason, because I'm playing video games. But it was one of those instances. This was probably 2-3 years ago that they were like going to Town River, and I was sitting in here, and I was sitting in my room just playing video games, and all of a sudden I hear kind of like your story. I just hear like up the stairs, as I usually hear, just the muffled dog. Which I usually hear, and for a second I'm like, oh, Mom wants something. I'm like, oh wait, nobody's home. So I just get up, walk over as like quiet as I can, lock the door, and I'm like, all right, just gonna sit here with the door locked and just go back to playing video games, pretend nothing happened. It had one earmuff off from that point on. Like, I'll hear them turn the door handle, and then I know things get real. And then I just didn't.
See the door handle turned, but you don't see a shadow. You're just, no escape.
And then they didn't get back for another 3 days ish. I do have an emergency ladder, so I had the plan going. I was like, okay, I didn't get too spooked, so I was like, it's probably just a thing in my imagination. And then I did hear like a thud downstairs like 2 hours later, and I was like, okay. But then I was like, okay, I have cats. Yeah, that's where I was like, could have been a cat, could have been anything. So my brain just rationalized it since.
I have 4 cats, and they tend to do that. Was it at night or no?
Well, this is before we had 4 cats. This is, like I said, 2 or 3 years ago. We only had Rusty and Toothless. And so.
Wait, when you saw Captain Marvel?
No, I said it was probably something like that. It wasn't Captain Marvel was another.
Oh,
it was something like that. They weren't going to Captain.
Was it at night?
No, it was probably like 4 o'clock.
Because cats tend to do that at night, though.
Yeah.
They'll start mowing left and right, real loud.
It was probably sleeping. It probably wasn't. I'm trying to think of a reason they were all gone like 2-3 years ago, but it might have been something, I guess. It probably was somewhere like.
They would try to go to Florida and they forgot you were here.
It was probably somewhere like Emma and my mom took my sister to a doctor's appointment, and my brother had another's appointment, or my dad went to a meeting or something for Boy Scouts or whatever. Because I'm an Eagle Scout, aged out.
I'll brag much.
The college asked, "You guys have a Cub Scout program?"
Yeah, but But then I just sat in my room like with the door locked because I'm very scared of things, and I just sat there and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit in here for a little bit. And then once they all got back home, I was like, okay.
don't call me up anymore.
They got back home and I was like, unlock? Yep. There's nothing here. We're good to go. It was probably just a cat, but I got
Cat
scared.
meow real loud.
I had another experience, probably a month or so later after that. It was a ways later. I don't remember how long later, but I remember we had furniture in the basement at that time, and I was sitting on the couch watching TV. I was sitting on the couch watching TV. Cat was sitting on the couch with me, so it wasn't the cat. And I was watching TV, and right next to me, against the wall, bang. And I was like, what? And I turned around, nothing fell. Cat's next to me. I was like, well, either I'm hearing things or there's something going on here.
I just had a stroke or I had a stroke.
Oh, I remember another thing. This is actually before the bang.
Yeah.
After my name.
Before the Big Bang, after you created.
Before Big Bang, after the Let There Be Light.
This is
before Christ, after.
This is another voice.
After Peter.
This is another voice where.
Yeah.
I think I was in my room, and I just hear, "What are you doing?" Just like
what do you care?
Just, what do you know? I was looking around. I was like, I can't hear people talk upstairs. The floor is not that thin, and there's no one in the basement with me.
Yeah.
I don't think my cat can say, "What are you doing?" But I heard that, and I was just like, well, shit.
Oh,
well.
I remember when I was thinking Captain Marvel. I was like, why was I thinking Captain Marvel? This was 2 years ago. There was another one. This was when, that same day you, the other guy, and I were playing video games. You two were at your house, and then you were like, oh no, my Wi-Fi quit, and I quit playing mine. I went up to town with them because they needed to jump up. My mom needed to jump on her car, and we ate food and stuff. We had pizza, and I was like, you want to go to Captain Marvel? I'm like, I've already seen it once, and I saw it last night or whatever. So I was like, I'll just go back home. And we were meeting up to hang out or whatever, like 6 or 7 o'clock. This was probably, I got home at, I don't know, 2:30. And so I was just like, I'll just hang out for a bit. And so I was just in the house, and then something similar happened. I was sitting in my room again, and then I just heard some sound from my brother's room. And then I opened it up, and one of the curtains had like fallen off the hook. And I was like, okay, hope that's the cats. And I just went back in my room.
A little rowdy.
Didn't hear any call-ins, didn't hear any or anything like that. But that's why I was thinking Captain Marvel, because that one spooked me a bit. And then as I walked under one of the lights, it flickered, and then I ran downstairs like, okay. Because I was already freaked out because that curtain made a loud noise. Like just a curtain falling. I'm like, oh, it's a curtain falling. But that thing was like scraping down the mirror. And I was like, ah. And then when I saw it was a curtain, I was like, oh, whatever. But I'd opened the door to walk on the hallway, and then the light flickered a bit, and I was like, all right.
An experience at a friend's house. It was a few years back. Like it was a long time ago, back before I moved out here. But we were watching. It was gonna be watching TV or Netflix somewhere. We were watching something on Netflix in his room, and he had an old like metal ammo tin.
Yeah.
I think it was his grandpa's because his grandpa served in World War II or whatever. And we were just watching us, and something hit the tin real loud. Like it was a really heavy metallic hit. And we get up, look around, nothing on the ground around it, nothing.
Something trying to get out of the tin.
Nothing's around it. Nothing could have fell and hit it. There was a shelf above it, but it was farther out, so it would have fallen out like past it. Mm-hmm. But something hit it. Nothing was around it, and we were just like, "Well, that's a little spooky."
How about not again?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if I have any other ones.
You have any spooky stories?
Yeah, Brandon, you have any? I have one more.
But I'll let you go. Just ignore it.
You don't pay any mind to any of the spooky stuff?
Nothing.
Yeah. At this point, my general rule is like, unless it's concrete, I'll just ignore it.
Yeah.
Which is where like the Captain Marvel thing, I was like, I ran downstairs like, oh gosh, there's something in. Oh, never mind. It's just a flickering light and a curtain fell. And with the thud thing, I was like, a cat meowing at 4 o'clock.
Oh, actually.
You see, I can't rationalize a voice saying my name at
that's where I have one I can't rationalize.
Actually,
but I'll let you go
there was one
first.
thing that happened. It's probably something very minor. It was in our old house, we had the actual house and the garage, but we never used the garage. So that was like the cat's like play area. So we just let them out there and they would do their thing and hang out.
Do cat things.
Yeah, and we were talking about just spooky stuff, and my mom's like, "Yeah, maybe we should stop talking about this because it's getting a little creepy." And then something fell in the garage, and I was like, "Is there a cat in the garage?" He's like, "Nope, just let the last one in a few hours ago." I was like, "Okay, I'm done with that."
Like that whole like
something fell from like the rafters off, like way up there, fell off onto the cement.
This isn't my story, but I was on. We'll get to my story. I can't explain, but this is speaking of like a sound in the dark or whatever. There was one story on Reddit that was like divers' scariest stories or whatever, and one guy was talking about how he does a lot of diving in like a reservoir, and so he was doing one of his daily dives where they had to go down and check all the different stuff and whatnot, and he's down there with his light and it's starting to fade, as you know they do, and so the light's going out and he's like, all right, I gotta go back up to the hatch and change out for a new light and flashlight. The moment it goes out, he just hears this loud boom, 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 banging, like on metal clanging. And then he gets back in. He gets like, he just, of course, afraid.
So what was he going to?
He was, I can't remember the exact post. I could try and find it, but he was worked in a reservoir doing like deep dives and doing repair and management and stuff. And those reservoirs can be spooky because you end up, a lot of those like freshwater ones, you come across gigantic like big old catfish that have just been eaten good. Yeah,
the size of Prius.
Yeah, those big boys.
What?
The groupers that are that big on the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, wait, was this freshwater?
Yeah, it's a reservoir. Of course, it's freshwater.
Oh, I was thinking of like a oil tanker for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely an idiot, but I think that's in reservoirs is that you just get that flow of water and things, and they just get huge down at the bottom. You also end up.
They eat pretty much anything they can get in their mouths, and they grow to their environment. So if they're in a pretty decent environment, eating a good amount of food, they're gonna get
to be some big old catfish. And then you get the huge eels too in some of those places. Like they keep growing, kind of like the catfish, just keep going, and they end up with like a big old eel the size of that lamp for audio listeners.
As you can see, the size of that lamp.
Big lamp.
Yeah, but anyway, he gets back up. He changes his light, goes back down. No other disruptions that whole day, but he just like finishes.
Down there got scared because the light went out.
Yeah, probably it was probably just like an auditory illusion or something. I wasn't there, so I can't attest to it. But it was just something.
Deep down enough, there's gonna be some sort of pressure that could maybe mess with you.
Maybe something on the thing up there was going.
There was another one I could tell. I guess I don't like to tell these stories because I can't remember them that well. But there was one where two guys were diving by a reef, and because they have to get the whatever you call them, they're like sharks but smaller, and that they basically get these things, and they're diving, and one of the guys has there's two guys on these like tethers basically to do these deep dives, and the guy above him's light goes out, and he's like, oh shoot, and he's like looking around, and then he sees eventually he sees, and like it's just murky, like you can't see your hand too far in front of you, but then eventually he sees this gigantic fish. And then he's like, oh, shoot, the guy above me turned his lights out, meaning one, he's, unable to shine his light, or B, he just didn't want to distract anything. And then so he's like, oh, I'm going to return to the hatch to make sure I live, even if this other guy doesn't, I guess. He gets up to the hatch, and the other guy's there like, hey, I couldn't swim down to you because you were...
Maybe you should have.
Like, you were 15 feet below me, but I saw that thing, 20 yards out, turned my light off, and I was like hoping you noticed and would swim up, and eventually you did.
Well, I'm sure if that thing under there has pretty good...
vision? Called? Echolocation or something?
No, what's it called? Night vision, kind of. Like
cats. The fish?
Yeah, I'm sure they can see pretty well in the dark.
Water vision.
Yeah. Exactly.
Water vision.
Yeah. Can see on the wall.
But
I would be pissed.
Yeah.
You'd be like, left without
you kidding?
Me,
like,
asshole.
That thing was...
turn off the light and hoping I see it in the dark.
Yeah. That's the weird thing is about the ocean, is the freaking big sharks. Like, you're like, oh, little shark, whatever. Like, divers are like, oh, it's a...
Great white shark look big, and you've seen...
Great white sharks are the ones you get... Like, there are divers... Or there was, what was his name? Some guy who was training for, like, a triathlon. He was like, yeah, I was swimming one day, like, almost... And I had to make this time for whatever... I don't know why he had to make it. Maybe it was the actual thing. But he had to make this time. And he looks down about 20 feet below him. He sees the, like, tail shape and everything of a great white shark. And he's like, oh, no. Like, that's the one thing that's like, code, get out of there. But he's like, I'm going to finish this. He finishes it, and he's like, it was probably a dolphin on its side, deep down, so that you just saw the blue outline. And the tail looked like a shark because it was halfway rolled over or something. But, yeah, that's just like, I don't know.
What if?
I mean,
what if?
That reminds me of the story. I remember I heard about this a long time ago. I'm probably going to butcher some of the details, but it was there was a decent sized great white shark that was like tagged, And then like they were tracking they had like a tracking thing so you see like the temperature of the water is in and like
See where it's going.
and like the location and like the depth or whatever. And they're just monitoring it, and then like the tag kind of like stopped working properly, and then they found like a bit of the shark washed up on the shore. And it was a good sized shark, and they get the chip and they test it, like they hook it up to a computer or whatever, and they find after a period when it stopped working that the temperature of the water that the thing itself was in was like the temperature like what got really really hot, and it just dived down like a few hundred feet in the water.
I heard something like that.
Whoa.
But yeah, it's like something big had to have done something to this shark, because sharks just don't do that.
Yeah.
That's not their behavior.
Well, the water really gets hot at the bottom.
Well, it also gets hot in the
Plus, I don't
stomach or
think great
something.
white sharks can go too deep without getting crushed.
I'm
Yeah.
maybe like a squid just
But like
night.
something big had to have. Well, I don't think isn't the deeper you go in the water, the colder it gets, because it's
In general,
it's farther
but-
away from the sunlight.
Yeah, but at the very, very like, I don't think a shark could get that deep. But at the ocean floor, there's all that like upcoming gases and stuff that makes it really, really hot. Like that's where all of the life is in the ocean floor, is all these little microbial guys hanging out around these, geysers of hot, volumes of
Gases
That's where all the
and
life on I think all the life on Earth began around all these little spouts of hot gases.
Sunlight, I'm gonna walk.
Ooh, warm.
Ooh, I'm gonna grow some legs.
So yeah, and that's where like the idea that if the whole Earth was to freeze over for whatever reason, deep down, those guys would hang out for a while and eventually evolve and whatever. Yeah, and the new fish that can survive in the dark.
The new fish.
That's like
Critters.
there was that cave that was like completely outside of sunlight, no entrance, and they find it, and they go in and they find like, I don't know, a couple 100 or whatever new species of beings that had evolved to grow and learn completely outside of sunlight, just because that cave had
Didn't
probably
have
been
access to
separate
it.
for like a million years or something.
Probably didn't know what the sun was.
Yeah, so it's just like slightly like a tarantula, but a little bit different, or a little fish, but a little bit different kind of thing, so that it could have lived without completely no sunlight. Yeah.
Yeah, the world is kind of funky, especially
Yeah.
with oceans, because we don't know
We've
practically anything about the
Yeah,
ocean.
we
Why
know
don't you
more
swim
about
down
the
there?
moon than we do
Michael
about
Phillips,
the ocean.
go on the bottom of Mariana Trench. You can get down there.
It might explode, but yeah,
Implode, actually.
What's
Jaden.
sorry, but it's a price he's willing to take.
Because
Well,
there's
it
like
is, 'cause he smokes pot.
there's like the deepest free dive, and then
Come
there's
on, Phillips, you just get baked and go.
if you look at those infographics, it gets freaky. There's like the deepest free dive, the deepest like scuba assisted dive, the deepest manned submersible dive, and then the deepest unmanned submersible dive is way down here. It's like, whoa, dude.
Hey,
This all
send a
just
little
kinda-
bot down there.
This also kind of reminds me of a subreddit I found that is a conspiracy subreddit that claims that there's no such thing as the bottom of the ocean. They just think it goes up into the sky at some point. It's really weird.
I found
Yeah, the bottom of that bottom of everything is connected to the top. It's just like
Something like that.
Stop
I
talking.
think it's like r/where's the bottom or something like that.
Oh gosh.
It's really
have you
weird.
ever? I went on r/conspiracies because I don't believe in many conspiracies, but there's one or two that I'm like, okay, this is too fishy to
This
be.
seems a little.
Yeah. But then I got to the guys who are like, if you look here, there's something in front of the sun. That's not the sun. That's the geosatellite spherical that floats above the fake Earth, round, flat Earth, whatever. I'm like, okay, dude, you're in your own sector. I'm just going to go back to my... Hold on, this is not quite true. Area 51? Maybe.
Speaking of the
Yeah.
unmanned submersible thing, I can't remember if I watched it or read it, but it was they sent a little bot down there doing a little thing trying to find just what's going on the bottom floor, and you just lose contact with it. And they're like, oh, that's not good. So they pull it back up and it's just destroyed. Like it just got torn
was it
apart.
Like the pressure?
No, it got torn apart.
Have you
Like
guys...
something got it?
Have
Like
you guys
it was
ever...
a robot, like
You
a
guys-
little robot they sent down there.
Yeah.
It's like it was doing all good, and then just something
Something didn't like it being there.
some got hungry.
Have you guys ever watched those videos of like taken from like the base of the oil rig on the camera with the little night vision camera thing, and then they'll just be like going around making repairs, all of a sudden giant squid, or all of a sudden just big shark thing down there,
just,
or like
oh,
deep
go away from this.
ocean creatures.
Yeah. I don't mess with the ocean.
I'm glad you're
Yeah.
in the ocean and not where I live.
That's where like I can read about like creepy things like the blob or whatever, that weird big boop sound they found
Oh,
way
the-
way
oh,
down.
Oh yeah, that.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Did you know what that was?
Didn't I think
No.
those ice caps like melting? And
It was.
falling in?
Yeah.
It's like you know the sound of like you just throw just a little tiny pebble in the water, just bloop.
Yeah.
And
It's like that, but
apparently
giant.
we're like, what is that? And they found out it was just like a piece of ice that broke off into the thing, a huge piece of
Interesting.
ice, and just traveled all that
Huh.
way and just bloop.
Yeah. But like I can see all that stuff and go, oh, that could be a giant monster. I'm like, I don't care because I don't go in the
This
ocean.
is a giant monster. Bloop.
And if I do go in the ocean, it's like when I was in Florida. I'm like, oh, ha 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 ha, go back to shore.
Oh, ankle deep.
Oh, I survived. I didn't step on a deadly squid that's
Or
going
the
to
guy-
kill me.
The lifeguard. You're not allowed to go like past waist like high
Yeah.
water. So people
He's
were trying to get like
"Yo,
all
you-"
adventurous and start swimming out there, and he would just
Be like, "Ow!"
blare his horn and would not stop.
Well, he was like,
Well, what's the point of
he had
stopping
reason
going past
to.
waist deep?
So they don't get caught in the riptide or something.
Well,
Or
you
like-
know, that's another terrifying story.
Just getting hooked out, just like, okay, bye.
Once
I don't wanna
again,
go back to
that
the
reminds
other
me. Once again, not my story, but some surfer who's also on that same Reddit post. I guess they don't read very much actual news, but it was some Reddit. There's the same Reddit post, and the guy was like, "I'm a surfer," and there was this gigantic wave coming. He's like, "I'm probably should have
It's a
went
wave
back
of
to
a
shore."
lifetime, probably.
Yeah, wave of life. And he's like, "I should probably go back to shore, but I'm gonna get this wave." He said something like, "If this is the greatest wave I've ever seen, I'm gonna
It's
ride
the
it."
big one.
This is the big one. It's gonna
SpongeBob
take
is big.
California back in the ocean. So he rides this wave, and he's like, okay. And then like a second into it, he loses his board, and he just gets shoved down.
Well, yeah, and all that pressure just
Yeah,
bam.
and he just like kept going, and then boom, he slams up against this like just smooth rock surface. He could feel it with like his hands or whatever, and then he's just getting pinned to this thing, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna die." And then finally, he can move and stuff, but then he feels this like whoosh by his ears, and then he realizes he's probably like, I don't remember what the story said, but probably like 5-6 feet from the continental shelf, and there's this current that's pulling this way, and it's gonna pull him straight down.
Oh my gosh, no.
That's why. I
And
don't
yeah,
mess
he's
with the
laying
ocean.
like 6 feet away from the continental shelf with his current trying to pull him over and deep. Like, you're going to die from the pressure alone. And he says and somehow he survived it. But I'm like, yep, that's why I tap out.
Yeah,
like, I
I'm
tap
gonna
out.
stay out of
I
that
tap
water.
out 300 feet above that and way closer to the shoreline.
You know, when the water washes up, yeah, it's a little too much for me.
You know
I
when
don't
the
wanna
water
get caught up
hits
in
your
that.
toe?
Like
That's when I
waves.
freak
Might
out.
get a little too wet.
I've been to like 3 actual oceans, and I've probably only gone up to like, I don't know, chest height maybe. And I'm like, yeah, it's a cool wave. Jump in the wave, haha.
I've never been to the ocean, but I've been to Lake Superior, and that's close enough. I want to go to an ocean.
Yeah, Lake Superior's
That's
freaky
in the middle
too.
of the continent.
It's practically an ocean, though. It's big.
I just
So it's
don't
like
like.
the woods. That's a big
See,
lake.
I've noticed that I'm just afraid of like deep
There's no woods out
water
there for some reason.
in general. Well, because there's all those people who are like the conspiracy about the octopus in the Great Lakes.
What?
You guys know about that? There's a conspiracy theory of
Is that why the Edmund Fitzgerald went down?
exactly. I don't know.
Is that a conspiracy theory?
I don't know if there's a theory about Edmund Fitzgerald, but I know there's theories about Minnesota lakes having
I mean,
octopuses.
there's
in
10,000 of them.
There was a
Gotta be
Lost
one
Tapes
octopus in 'em.
episode on it. You guys know Lost Tapes?
That show freaked me out.
I watched it when I was
watched
like,
one
was
episode
it?
about Bigfoot, and that.
my sister
scarred
kept
me.
watching. I didn't want to watch it, but she's like, I was like, what are we watching Netflix? And she's like,
Wait, it was on Netflix.
Wait, what is it?
yeah, it isn't
I remember
anymore.
watching it on Animal Planet.
What's it called?
Yeah, it
Lost
was.
Tapes.
It was an Animal
Oh.
It
Planet
was
series.
like one of those like
Yeah, fake.
like found footage things.
Fake, but it's like
It
oh,
was
that's
it was enough to
it's good.
scare me.
oh yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
distinctly remember. Like
I was
uh,
probably, I don't know, 11.
It was a Bigfoot episode,
Oh,
and like
remember the big one.
I remember like hearing like some of the stories about Bigfoot. Like, oh, it's not a very aggressive creature,
Yeah.
but it will defend its territory. And I just remember this one scene distinctly where the person with the camera is like freaking out at night trying to find his friend, and he finds his friend tethered up to like a tree with just giant
that's
scratches.
Blair Witch.
down
That's Blair Witch there.
No, it was
Yeah.
this, and I just remember seeing that, and I was just genuinely
Oh, what was it called?
terrified.
The Ritual. Have you guys seen that?
What are
No.
you doing over there?
Trying to get my
Jaden,
charger.
have you seen The Ritual?
No,
You should.
no.
It's
Okay,
real good, Jaden.
the-
It's on Netflix. I think
So-
it's
about?
like English actors.
There's 2 freaky.
You have to watch it.
What's it about?
Monster.
I
Woods.
don't know.
Good. No, it's
I
in
don't
Ireland,
like
I think.
horror movies.
You should
I hate
watch
to
it, though.
clown
It's
on you,
good.
Brendan.
The monster looks real cool.
Should we do a react to the ritual for our channel?
It's probably copyrighted.
Yeah, but we can just do like the highlight. We can
You
use
got
15
Irish accent,
minutes.
so you might like it.
You can use 15 minutes of a video of a movie without getting in trouble
15 minutes?
if it's a reaction.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise,
Like,
you're
just
screwed.
straight-
But if it's
There's
transformed,
a couple different videos.
15 minutes of the actual video, transformative, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not transformative, like when we used to do stuff
I
for,
think it's like 2 hours long.
when we used to work the news, we were like 30 seconds is all you get, or else you're fired. And I'm like, okay.
Otherwise,
Otherwise, you're gonna get sued, and you're paying for it, not us.
No, it's 28 seconds for music, wasn't it?
So, well, it was basically 30, but they said like 28 to be safe. But
Yeah.
sorry to clown on your movie, but back to Lost Tapes. That show scared me.
I never watched
It
it.
scared me too, but I only ever watched the Bigfoot episode, and I refused to watch it ever again.
The ones that got me. Well, no, my sister used to watch all these shows on Netflix, like Is It Real, where it's like half hour of the Jersey Devil is a creature, the 13th born child of Mary. And then at the end they go, well, actually, it's a dog that lost all its hair. And I was like, oh, cool, this stuff's fun.
It's a dog with mange.
It's a dog with mange. That's what these things are.
I had a quote unquote friend. I didn't exactly like him very much. I wouldn't say that to his face.
Classmate? Colleague?
It was a long time ago, like 5th grade. Who, I guess his dad was from New Jersey, and then they eventually moved back out there. But he would tell stories about like the Jersey Devil, saying like he wanted to go find it or something. That's if it's real, it's gonna kill you. And then he went to New Jersey,
out.
and then there was a hurricane. And I haven't heard anything from him since.
Is
May or may not
Jersey
be
Devil
dead.
like the
13th born son of what's her face,
No,
and
isn't
it
it-
flew out of her womb. Flew around the room like
New
screaming.
Jersey Devil? It's got a name that I would understand more.
It's just the Jersey Devil.
No,
It's a big boy. It stomped
I
around
remember
inside.
seeing there's
They found I remember the Lost Tapes episode. They lost their dog, and I was like, "Oh, don't kill the golden lab." And then at the end, they get their dog back from the Jersey Devil. It's a nice little fun story. And they almost died because they're hiding in this wall, and this stupid woman didn't turn off. Sorry, I don't hate all women, just this particular one. She didn't turn off the volume on her cell phone, and her cell phone goes off while they're hiding in the wall of this abandoned shack in the woods. And the Jersey Devil goes, kind of like Tim Allen in Home Improvement.
there were 3 seasons.
Didn't
of
get a
this.
single laugh.
I'm looking it up right now.
Pity laugh.
There were 3 seasons of this show.
Yeah. My sister watched like all of them.
Let's see.
But there's that reason.
Season 1, episode 7, Bigfoot.
The one I brought up is there's one where they're stuck on a raft at night in a lake, and the one guy goes, "Yeah, I saw the tentacle. I didn't want to freak anybody out." And they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" And then the one,
This one, season 1, episode 5, Oklahoma octopus.
yeah, but that's not the Minnesota, but whatever. But that's kind of like the general thing is like freshwater lakes in Heartland, or United States.
Cave demons, death road, megaconda.
I watched a
hellhounds,
zombie
skinwalker.
one a lot later.
I remember
There's
right
the
here.
Poltergeist
Season
one.
3, episode 1, zombies.
The
That would freak
Poltergeist
me
one
out.
freaked me out because it was like typically happens with people going through adolescence. And I was like, I'm 12. You know, I'm gonna die. And that one's freaky because they want the film. It's a film crew that just decided to show up and film because girls like I'm getting haunted or whatever. I might be completely ruining these storylines, but I haven't watched it in 5 years because I don't have Animal Planet.
I have Animal Planet, but still doesn't air.
To
Yeah.
add the New Jersey Devil
It's
thing,
still freaking
Yeah,
the fuck.
go
out of
ahead, add
me.
your little
I was
tidbit.
watching something that was it was something like it might have been Lost Tapes or something, but
Right.
it was like fact or fiction yeah. But
have
what-
you ever seen a ghost?
what had happened was
Let us know in the comments.
What did you just say?
it's farmer all their goats.
Oh, the goat
doesn't it
sucker.
yeah,
Chupacabra.
Yeah,
There's an
Chupacabra. That's
episode
what it
about
is.
Chupacabra on this.
Chupacabra. That's what it is. The
No,
Chupacabra.
the Dover Demon one was the very first one that freaked me the flip out. I think that's the very first one.
The
Dover Demon.
Chupacabra. It
First
was
one I watched anyway. Of
the
Lost
goat
Tapes.
sucker.
Sorry.
The
Sorry.
farmers, all his goats
Every one
were
of them.
sucked dry, and then they're trying to figure it out, and they were like all freaking out, and they did like an autopsy of the goats, and they checked it. It was
I
like,
think that
oh,
was-
it's not completely sucked dry, so it doesn't exist.
I think I did watch that, but that was like real. That wasn't like
I
an
know, yeah, it
actual-
was, but they opened it
Yeah.
up. It's like, oh, there's still some blood in here, so it couldn't have been that. It's like that's not evidence.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
evidence towards
If
it
a
either.
chupacabra,
I want to find that scene I was talking about with the. Oh Jesus Christ! What is that?
There's,
I want to find the scene I was talking about where the dude's chest just.
scariest
ripped
movie I've
open.
seen.
Oh, the Ritual's got something like that. You better watch it.
You better
I'm
watch
not
it.
watching
I'm
it.
not gonna
Watch
watch
the
it unless it's from YouTube.
It's not on Netflix.
Yeah, but we. Show me.
This
It's shot
This-
well.
I'll watch it.
this show
The Bear and Stranger Things.
genuinely just like scarred
3
me
probably.
for probably a good year. I just was terrified of it.
What?
There's
Lost
the
Tapes scared me.
the weird one
I'll
is
watch that.
whenever all that's.
I should watch that.
See, I've now reached the
It's on
point
Netflix?
where I can watch
I
two.
don't think so.
I can watch 2 hours of like stuff on YouTube about a deep sea creature
Or
or
you're like, checked out.
or home intruders, and I can just go to bed.
Or, yeah,
Like,
you're
whatever. It's not going to happen. It's like I've reached this point where it's like, oh, that's different. Like, way back then, it was like a person in Maine or a person in Delaware is dealing with the Dover demon. I'm dead. Now I'm like,
What is that noise?
what are the odds? That's my chair, I think.
Nope.
That's going like that way. It stopped.
Might be in your air conditioning or something.
Where's the Dover demon that you're talking
What's the sound toss?
I heard it a couple times, but
Sound like tapping on glass?
no,
It
it's just a.
Wait, was it the Bigfoot episode or was it the Southern Sasquatch episode?
Probably
that scared
Southern
me?
Sasquatch, because Bigfoot wouldn't
I
do
think
that.
it was Southern
Bigfoot's-
Sasquatch. Southern Sasquatch.
That
is the
sounds more
one
like an
that fucked me up.
assassination.
Southern Sasquatch is the one that fucked me up. Hold on.
Southern
First, Jaden?
Sasquatch.
Yes.
If y'all hear that sound again, I've got noise-proofing headphones on. All I can hear is you boys.
Mhm.
Barely. So don't tell me that there's a creepy sound or I'll know people sleeping here at night. I don't think. Probably just like a fan
Oh,
or
it's
something.
nice.
Yeah,
Saw
sure,
that.
yeah.
I'm sure it was.
So what's going on?
I'm a little bit on edge.
I'm still trying to find.
Have you ever
that
seen a ghost,
clip
Brendan?
Of the dude.
I got one more story that I was going to tell that I forgot about. I was at my grandma's house. We call her Amma because she's from Iceland. Her parents are, but she's 100% Icelandic. My mom's 100% Icelandic because my grandpa Afi is also 100% Icelandic.
Wow.
That's very fun. That's some precedence to make sure this is a real story. My grandparents are real. No, but I was at their house. I was, I don't know, very little
Find it.
because that'll help explain this. But I was walking in the basement, and in their basement there's like the main part, which back then had like an older carpet and like some old couches and stuff. And so I was just watching TV like Dukes of Hazzard, yay! And then I used to love the main room, but I always just got like weird vibes from this little middle room where there's like a floor to ceiling like mirror, and there's like a thing that you open to get into this dark, creepy laundry room from the backside. There's another bedroom that I was glad I only had to sleep in one time, and then once they fixed it up, the bedroom was nice, and then we had to go through that like weirdly lit tiled place to get to the bathroom every time, and it was like dark. Like I turned the lights on, it wouldn't help at all. It was like a little.
Wait,
it was
turn on light darker.
like my light fixture, but
I
just
think,
dark
I think I
yellow.
got the thing with the dude wrong. I think it was he was like picked up and stabbed through a tree branch, and then his chest got ripped open.
Yeah, I remember that. The guy's just stuck on like the tree
Yeah, he like
branch
stuck
thing.
on a tree and there's like a scratch across his chest, something like that. That was Southern Sasquatch, and that part fucked me up.
Yeah.
I'll say
Because it was you.
Anyway,
It scared me.
Jane got pinned through a tree.
anyway, back to my story.
Yeah, Jaden.
Yeah, but I was walking through one time, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm just gonna go there." I always gotten some creepy vibes, but this time I was like, I've walked through. My young 5-year-old brain had managed to rationalize. I've walked through here 10 times, never once had something happen. It's all good to go. I walked through, all of a sudden, boom! There's my grandpa right next to me. But for some reason, my grandpa is this older guy who's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
And he's just like,
But it wasn't. It was something off. Like it just like freaked me out. My grandpa, and he doesn't usually freak me out, and then it was gone. Like he was there, freaked me out, gone.
Oh, my brother has a story like that. That's Santa Claus and like Jake Paul.
Dude stuck on tree. Picture of Logan Paul from the Suicide
sorry.
Forest. That's a
And then
yikes.
I just got freaked out, crying, like unconsolably crying and stuff. And then my parents come down, my grandma, and my grandpa come in, like, "Oh, Avi,
Get
why-"
off me, Grandpa.
I was like, "Avi, why did you scare me?" Like, he was up in the kitchen the whole time. I was like, "What?" And so that's like the only real one that I'm like, okay. It's not like if I see something now where I go, okay, I've been awake for too long. I was, getting my 10 hours of sleep because my parents were forced me to go to bed.
Yeah.
I probably had one too many M&Ms, but
Sleeping.
but that's the one that I can't explain, no matter
My
how much I
brother
try.
had something like that. He was with his friend,
Yeah.
and I think this was along the Vergas Trails, as you guys know.
Ooh, someone tried to steal our story in the news.
Which is like the Sasquatch type thing of Minnesota.
The hairy
I
man.
think Sasquatch is in Minnesota.
Huh?
I think
That,
if you
the
go
hairy
by-
man is probably the most prevalent one.
Yeah, he's
never heard of
he
that.
just walks
The
around
hairy
the
man,
trails.
the Vergas Trails.
I've heard you mention it, but
Don't you
don't know
remember?
anything
We're
about
gonna
it.
Don't
make
remember-
a skit out of it. But,
Don't you
Is
remember
that like
Mr.
a legit
Basher?
thing? That's like a
Yeah,
thing out here.
it's an actual big thing.
Don't you
Huh.
remember my boy
We'll look this
Basher
up.
trying to guess us do it?
My brother was
sorry.
on it was like around Vergas, and he was driving with his friend, and he's driving down the highway, pitch black, and he sees a dog just standing in the middle of the road, and he freaks out and stomps on the brakes. Too late, he passes over the dog, and there was about the dog was big enough to where it couldn't have crouched down.
Yeah.
And it was like a what's it called? It'd be like a.
So this is a local thing.
Yeah. It would be like a German Shepherd type
Yeah.
thing, and they had a lower car, so it was like they ran through it, guaranteed. So like we just killed the dog, but we didn't feel anything. So they went back, and nothing was there, and they were just like, okay, I'm gonna go home now.
Okay, speaking of weird dog stuff, I swear I saw a dog on like 2 legs one time. Like not like haha, but like running
I
on
got
2
a dog with
legs.
3 legs.
It's the dog. It's the dog man, like Peter Kane was telling us about.
Yeah.
No, but this is what happened. So I was at your house. We were at a fire. It was like 3 a.m.
Lena coming up.
It was probably 4 a.m. and I was like, I'm gonna go home because I think that was the time that somebody had compromised the address, and I was like, I'm gonna go home before anything weird happens.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know that time.
Yeah.
Gavin was like, "We're here, haha," in case, yeah.
Wait, talking
So-
about the.
No, they're fine.
the issue. So I drove home at like probably 3-4 a.m. and I was driving and I was like, I was like, okay, if I show up at 4:30 a.m., my parents are probably gonna realize somehow, but they probably wouldn't have. I don't know why I thought this, but I was like, and also I just kind of was feeling adventurous. I decided to drive around like some of those gravel, like desolate roads out, way down between your house and like DL or whatever. I was driving around there and I'm looking around and all of a sudden something like I look over and I see. I thought I saw a dog, and I look, and then I see this thing on like 2 legs just sprinting off into the woods. And I'm like,
I don't want to see that again.
I'm like, yep, so glad I'm not on foot right now. And I'm like,
I'm not on
like,
biking in my city.
going 50 on gravel, we're gonna speed on up to 60. Got home, and I was like laying in bed, like I know the stories. I know that things on 2 legs can be.
Was it like a dog-looking thing, or was it like a?
It was
Is it a bear?
Am I? I don't think.
legs?
Bears can go on 2 legs.
Yeah, my
I don't
rationally.
want to.
They can go
My,
fast.
like-
They don't go very fast, but they can go on 2 legs.
My-
They
They
can,
would.
like, walk.
They can. They stand on 2 legs to seem bigger.
Yeah.
My hope was that it was a bear, but then again, I was like, bears don't sprint on 2 legs; they get on all 4 and hobble out. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Was
what
it
was
like
that
a?
thing?
So is the hairy man supposedly violent? 'Cause that's what it
I
looks
don't
like.
know.
People
But
say, like,
then
That's
again-
not the thing.
people say that, like, I'm on a website and it says, like, so far there's like been 2 people claiming
Yeah.
their encounters, and both seem violent, which says one lady was snowmobiling and it came out brandishing a large stick, and another one says this person, it charged out of the woods and pounded huge dents on the hood of his car. So it seems to be aggressive.
There's also one thing in Vegas where it's like there's like a little cult out there.
oh yeah, the little group
like,
of guys that go in the woods and do a weird thing.
Yeah, they go like, and if you drive up, your car will just shut off, and they'll just surround your car, and you're just like,
Yeah, where is this place at? So I know never to go there.
Vegas.
It's over by Vegas in Minnesota somewhere.
Well,
Vegas Trails?
Yeah, I feel like I know that Vegas is near Vegas.
It's the Vegas. Just don't go on the Vegas Trails.
Yeah, they're just surrounded by just
Didn't-
like members, and they're just like, and they go away, and then your car turns back on, and you're just like, yeah, I'm out of here.
That
One
seems
time
like
my brother
the-
actually was driving up the Vegas Trails, all of his windows started rolling down. He backed up and was gone.
Wait, how does
All
that
of them?
happen? That
like,
All 4 of them started rolling down.
yeah, they just started rolling down, and he's
No.
bowled out there and just booked it, or not? He was in his.
That's
car,
like a
and he just
real
sped
bad
off.
place. I'm not going there.
yeah, that's actually like.
Well, I think he was in his truck, so it was the 2
Oh,
windows.
2 windows. Yeah.
So
Your
he-
truck?
You know, that's actually not that.
Your truck
far
will be
away,
Yeah, I know.
and I don't like that.
I know, it's very close.
Your truck will be like 6 miles away from
it
that
would
place,
break down.
and
It
your
wouldn't be because
engine
of
would
the
just
cult, it'd
die.
break down.
How will the cult stop your vehicle from functioning?
I guess it's like a Satanist cult.
As
or
long
something.
so
And they just surround your car just shuts off, and then they just surround you.
What do
You
they
just-
do around? Like, do
They
they?
just stare. They just surround you.
This, my friends, is why you carry a gun.
Or just don't go on the trail.
yeah, that's
Carry
good.
a gun.
Well,
They come to your car, pop a couple caps in them.
Yeah, and then
The
they're-
trails
and you're
are-
shooting at nothing, and you're just like,
So it's not real people.
for-
It's figments of your imagination.
Jaden, I haven't been there. I don't know.
And I have
like
no
for
need to go
paranormal
there.
enthusiasts, which I'm not really one of those guys. I just like to read up on this stuff. Like maybe like that
I'm
witch
for ghosts,
lady,
not the spooky stuff like that.
Yeah.
that like witch lady who
Or Bigfoot,
was
that's an
had her
interesting
office
thing.
right by our school.
You mean the medium?
Oh yeah, the medium. Oh, find your
She
grandpa.
was by, it's like she her office space was like by the city compost pile.
Yeah, which isn't. I mean, that's fine. Real
Or that's
estate.
what it said on Google Maps, but
I don't
There's
know.
only. I'm on a website that it claims that Minnesota's creepiest legends and.
I've only heard of the Vegas Trails
there's
and the
3.
cult one.
Wasn't there?
The cult one's not on here, but it's the Hairy Man of Vegas Trails. There's the Wendigo, which that's just.
Ooh, don't
that's
say his
just-
name.
That's just
No, no,
everywhere.
no, no,
Yeah, that's
no,
kinda
no,
just
no.
anywhere there's
Well,
Native
that's because
American.
it's Minnesota's a very Native American
Yes.
place.
That's what freaked me
And
out
then
about this
there's,
dude on 2
There's
legs.
Lake Pepin.
What? I've never heard of that.
I don't know. Want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Lurking beneath the waters of Lake Pepin is said to be home to a giant serpent Pepe. That's an interesting name.
That's like
Sightings of Pepe stretch back to the 1800s when both Native Americans and white settlers were frightened of the monster submerged in the waves. Lake Pepin bodes an eerie similarity to Scotland's famous Loch Ness. So it's like Minnesota's Loch Ness.
It's like Nessie.
Both bodies of water are approximately 2 miles wide and 22 miles long, surrounded by rocky bluffs. Though the Loch Ness reaches depths over 700 feet, Lake Pepin only reaches around 60 feet deepest point.
Not Poker Loco.
Seemingly deep enough to conceal a lake monster. Sightings describe Pepe ranging from 8 feet to... These are some very drastic numbers.
It's just the lake, and then it's just like the monster's just sitting in the lake is barely big enough for the monster.
Can I just say...
Well, according to the size ranges, apparently, considering...
If it's 60 feet, you can look down. It's like, oh, it's right there.
They describe it ranging from 8 feet to 200 feet.
Oh, that's a couple
Can I just say, every time I have to drive when it's snowing out, I get a little bit worried something's going to come get me.
Or I'm scared because I feel like my truck's going to fail me.
We had to rescue you on, like,
Yeah, it
was
took
it
you a
election night? We had to drive over to you.
Took you a little bit.
Yeah, you get that phone call. Oh, wait, we're going to see what the Montana seat
Hey,
does.
yeah,
Don't worry.
It's like, I can see your house from here. Can you come, please? Just
Sorry, we have to fund the gas tank. We were just sitting on the couch seeing what Montana would do.
I'm getting real cold in this
We're
point.
watching Oregon. We're watching Eastern Oregon. What happened there? And
1995 Dodge Dakota.
we're like, oh, it's 180 to 221. Just give us a few minutes. Come on.
A truck that's meant for summer. It has almost no insulation.
And you're like, please help.
80% window.
And then you thought we gave you diesel.
I want to point. I want to point this out. It says
Yellow.
at one point a local of the town of Lake City offered a $50,000 reward for anyone who could uncover evidence of the creature.
I'm guessing no one got that reward.
I would assume not. However, eyewitnesses' accounts remain the only evidence. Minnesota's home to over 10,000 lakes. There's bound to be something lurking in one of them.
Probably some muskies.
It's like a
couple northerns.
Like how in Superior there's the sea lampreys.
Wait, do you guys actually know about the Edmonds Fitzgerald?
The
reason they couldn't go save him.
When I went up to Duluth, that's
that?
all my dad would talk about randomly, and I'd be like, "Shut up!"
It's a cool story. There's a whole there's
a song
theater.
I know there's a song. He would play the song on his phone. I tell him to stop.
There's a whole theater explaining what it is. I'm pretty sure
I read up on the crash, like the sinking, but I didn't know why they couldn't.
I'm pretty sure they the reason they couldn't is because they were on. Isn't Superior connected to Canada?
Yeah, Superior.
Yeah, they were on the Canadian side, so they couldn't cross the border to go save them.
Well, I knew that they couldn't salvage the boat because Canada's like, no, you're
Canada
not
said
getting
you can't
our...
salvage the boat, so all those people were just stuck out there and like we can't go across the border.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
I found another article on the same website called 5 of Minnesota's most haunted places. Want to hear about them?
My house.
Apparently, one is the Palmer House Hotel. Considered one of the most haunted places in Minnesota, both guests and staff of the Palmer House Hotel in Sauk Center describe countless paranormal sightings and experiences. So much so that even the show Ghost Adventures traveled to Minnesota and featured the hotel in an episode. Some of the most common reports of strange activity, including disembodied voices, rapid temperature shifts, doors slamming shut on their own, and feelings of terror in the basement's hotel.
My favorite thing is
that's what it says on the article. It's cool.
That's cool.
Like it's space, cool, space. There are frequent ghost sightings of a young boy with blonde hair and green eyes making his way upstairs to the second floor, along with sounds of a child bouncing a ball.
Sounds a little too Maryland of a certain race or something.
And running in the hallway. Reports of the Palmer ghost of a famous Minnesota author, Sinclair Lewis. I feel like I've heard that name. I think D-Rob's probably said something about that.
I'm sure.
Yes, for 10. Make sure you remember this boy. He's
aside from the haunted. Basement, rooms 11 and 17 are considered to be the most active. Get ready for a restless night of sleep. The Palmer offers a 2-hour haunted tour of the hotel and their infamous basements, where you'll be able to experience the frightening paranormal activity.
Why would I go on a 2-hour tour?
Where's Sauk Center?
Can't just look at it from the outside where I'm safe.
I think Sauk Center might be where I've spent not a lot of time, but I've been there a few times.
What is that house called? It's like Amityville.
Winchester House.
Is that what I think?
That's the one where the lady kept building more and more because she kept getting hunted because of their family's gun company.
Yeah, she was supposedly haunted by all the people.
Yeah, all the people who were killed by Winchester guns. Rifles. That house is creepy looking just because of how big it is, and there's like all the empty staircases.
This place straight up far away.
It was
stuff. Which one's not far away?
Was it?
No, it is far away. The Palmer House Hotel is.
What's that down by like St. Cloud Cities area?
Yeah, it's a few miles away from St. Cloud.
Yeah, I think I've been down there.
Like between Alexandria and St. Cloud.
Yeah, I've been.
Let's go to number 2.
Hold on. There's just one thing.
I
I can't remember if it's Amityville Horror or something like it. But you guys know Amityville Horror?
Yeah, I know the story.
The story
where
there's
the kid killed
a
all his
house
family.
Like
or whatever.
it, and it was like there's this
there's
this scene of this guy or this priest going upstairs, and he walks in the room, and there's a fly, and then there's another fly, and all of a sudden tons of flies just fly into the room and are just everywhere, like surrounding the guy, and the guy's like freaking out, and he leaves the room. I'm pretty sure, or like he like passes out or something, and he either wakes up or goes back into the room, and all the flies are gone, and he's just like, something's wrong with this house.
Can we agree that a first Exorcist movie is amazingly done?
Neither have I.
Oh,
Again, I don't watch horror movies.
You should.
I don't like being scared.
actually,
Do you remember that scene?
Can I talk about the second place?
Exorcist is a good movie. I've watched so many movies. I probably watched them when I was really young and don't remember, but I remember being good. All I know is Exorcist 2 doesn't sound very good.
Wait.
Wow, this doesn't.
I think there's like a second
I'm sure
DVD sequel that was not good at all.
This doesn't
I
sound
might
like a
be
good
wrong
place.
completely.
What?
I'm thinking of the wrong franchise.
Any of you plan on getting married soon?
The Vergas
closest.
Trail's
You
bet.
can have your wedding at this place apparently.
Jack's the closest one.
Here's the number 2.
I'm on my way.
Here's number 2 on the list.
Years.
The Wabasha Street Caves in St. Paul.
Mm.
Being that Wabasha Street Caves are, well, caves, there's a good probability that there's going to be some sinister activity happening in the dark caverns and twisting corners. The Wabasha Caves have a long history going back to the Prohibition era when caves' secret nooks were turned into a speakeasy, making a perfect spot for gangsters to hide out from the authorities. One infamous story tells of a mobster card game gone wrong in the caves when it ended in a triple murder. The bodies were gone by the time the cops arrived, and rumors spread that the mob frequently hid corpses in the cave, though no evidence has been found. Along with these grisly gangster stories, visitors have also encountered paranormal activity, witnessing strange mists, floating orbs, and ghostly men dressed in 20s era attire. Others have reported seeing an apparition of a madam called Nina Clifford who wears a 20s-style dress, and a ghost bartender who refills empty wine glasses. I could get used to a friendly ghost bartender. If you want to see for yourself, or maybe get a free ghostly drink refill, you can sign up for the Wabasha Street Caves Ghost and Graves Tour or the Lost Souls Tour to hear full details on the horrifying tales and accounts from inside the caves.
I enjoy that reading.
That scene, it was the original Amityville Horror.
Oh, the fly one?
Yeah, with the priest freaking out.
I don't think I watched the movie, but I heard the story.
Yeah, there's one with Ryan Reynolds. Have you seen that one? And there's also a new one in like 2017.
Yeah, wasn't
There's 3
there?
different movies.
Was the Conjuring 2
Man,
where they went to
number 3
Amityville
is
horror
the whole
stuff?
street.
Conjuring 2.
I don't watch very many.
Yeah.
I don't watch very many of these movies, but
They
I watched The
making so
Conjuring
many of The
1,
Conjuring,
it-
it's just like, oh.
I watched The
please.
Conjuring 1 and it was like, oh, scary. I watched Annabelle. I was like, oh, whatever. I watched
Yeah,
Annabelle 2 and there's like
It's so much.
the black creature jumps down from the ceiling, starts running at her. I'm like, oh no, it's
They
this.
should just stop
He's
at The
gonna tell you about
Conjuring.
YouTube glitches.
Yo, number 3 is just a straight up road.
I'm
like a
hoping.
street.
Okay,
Well,
Vergas
The
Trail's better be
Conjuring
on the
actually
list.
is just like, it's just about the couple going through each house. I'm
What?
pretty sure. I think it follows the couple.
No, but one I could have sworn
the,
one.
uh,
Ed and Lorraine.
one of
Yeah,
the
and Lorraine
they
Warren.
follow them.
Yeah.
Those are real people.
I know.
Yeah, didn't
And
they
they like
do like
died a while
Amityville
Played
back.
with Patrick Wilson.
stuff?
They
Yeah,
died a
I
while
swear it
back.
was a Pat Wilson movie where they did Amityville stuff in like
Was
the
it The
second
Nun?
one. What?
Was it The Nun?
No, it wasn't. It was The Boy. The movie with the poor. Have you guys never
the
watched
one-
that?
Is that part
Lauren
of the
Cohen
Conjuring
in it?
series?
What? No, that was not part of the Conjuring.
Okay, there's
you
Insidious,
guys remember-
Conjuring 3,
yeah.
The Nun, Annabelle 2, The Conjuring, Conjuring 2.
I think Conjuring 2 is the
Annabelle Comes
Amityville.
Home, Annabelle Creation.
Annabelle Creation's a dumb. I haven't seen any of the other Annabelles, but I watched Annabelle Creation at one of our friends' house on
Sinister?
Halloween, and I did not get scared or enjoy it.
Would you
I
care
watch
to-
Amityville Horror.
Would you fine fellows care to hear about number 3 on the list?
Absolutely, enlighten us.
This one's just called First Avenue. This might not be your first thought when thinking of haunted spots in the Twin Cities. However, this lively music and dance venue has rather dark and disquieting side. Workers and guests alike have experienced numerous ghastly paranormal encounters. One of the most well-known paranormal events at First Avenue revolves around when the building was originally the Northland Greyhound bus depot. What are you doing over there?
No.
I'm whispering to tell if there's any ghosts here. Open that door,
Okay.
Luke comes in.
just in
Jack.
case. Luke comes in. Luke's a ghost.
Okay.
Jack,
The-
I want to play Minecraft.
The story tells of a young woman who hanged herself in the 5th stall of the women's bathroom when she was discovered her boyfriend had died in combat during World War II and wouldn't be coming home to her. For those unlucky enough, witnesses report seeing the ghost of this woman wearing a green army jacket and hanging from the stall in the women's bathroom, so don't go in there. The upstairs dance lounge called the Record Room is considered to be the most haunted spot in First Avenue, with reports of dancing apparitions with no legs, equipment malfunction, and DJs frequently hearing strange noises in their headphones. So it appears First Avenue is not a road like I thought, it's a building.
Oh.
Have you heard of the weeping statue?
Weeping Angels?
No.
Isn't that like the Virgin Mary that started crying blood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, they'll just be like,
Wait,
oh, that's not supposed to be on that
do you
statue.
guys,
Yo, what
have
about
you guys
the-
seen that video
What
of
about the
the
South Park episode where there's
I don't watch South
Okay,
Park.
speaking of...
Someone did the parody thing of the weeping statue where instead of crying blood, period blood.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun. Have you guys seen... Okay, but speaking of, like, angels doing stuff... Or angels... statues doing stuff. Have you guys seen that video from, like, a church in Poland where there's, like, all these people doing the
Which
low
one?
chanting?
There's a lot of them.
And then there's, like, a statue of basically Jesus. And then all of a sudden the eyes and the thing just open up for a few seconds and then close.
You doing that right now scared me.
Yo, I don't
Imagine
care.
those eyes on Jesus.
I don't care if that is a statue of Jesus. I'm not.
Yeah, it's
doing
like
that.
No, I don't know what, but it's like...
Why is that light purple?
Yo, what?
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was like thinking there's a repeat of what happened before. We'll get to
Because
that.
in 5
We'll get
minutes,
to
he's
that.
like, okay, you're doing it.
We'll get to that.
One of
I
the,
just want to. Can I ask what's the charge on that computer, just so we know?
57.
There's
Okay.
also
If it
also
gets
this,
low, just we'll have to plug it in.
again with the religion thing. There's this like blood that's like what's it called when it coagulates? I guess is the best word. But like
When it hardens?
like it's like
Clumps?
basically,
Clumpers.
and it'll be like that. But like every once in a while, it'll just go liquid again, and it'll just be like, huh, and then it'll go back to being, like coagulated and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they're just like, what is that?
When Jane stared right past me for a few seconds, I just like got chills. I was like, "Don't turn around, Jack. Don't turn around."
Don't turn
Actually, I
around.
need to correct myself on that South Park plot. They initially thought that the blood was coming out of her asshole, but then they realized it was a period and it's not a miracle. That was the whole thing. Was like, oh, it's a miracle coming out of her asshole, and then like they're like, and that Pope comes or whatever, and he's like, actually, it's coming out of her vagina, and it's like in like this whole statement is like, whenever blood comes out of a woman's vagina, it's not a miracle. It was an interesting South Park episode.
Yeah, fun.
Want to hear about number 4?
Go for it.
Number 5 better be Vergus Trails, because that place is giving me a heebie-jeebies. If you're around here and you're paranormal enthusiast,
think
you're
this
going
is-
there.
Are all these in the Twin Cities?
It's probably
'Cause
like
it's
one
not-
of like.
these-
It's
these
probably gonna be like
not.
the St. Paul Herald or some big wig.
The St. Paul heroin addict.
Brandon, when you change the light to purple, if you just denied that for like an hour, that'd be amazing. Just I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
That would have scared me. But
Didn't
number 4
left.
is Mountains Theater. It's just a theater somewhere.
If that door
It's in
opens
I think they're
though,
all in St. Paul. Like they're all in the Twin Cities.
The blood would clot. That's what it is.
can I just be honest? If that door creaks open, I'm moving.
If the door keeps open,
Or
I'm
you can move
going
out of your
home.
own. Oh, I guess you can go to your dorm. It's just
Yeah.
it's more haunted. You're just
Yeah,
Go to
if that
dorm.
door,
Yes,
if,
I'm
that,
getting hung up.
if the door creaks open, this podcast is over. And I'm driving.
But no, that's perfect. We could get it on air. The door creaking open, you could hear it, the sound. But people wouldn't believe it because we wouldn't have video.
I mean, yeah, but
We do have video
still,
of what
that-
happened
that
earlier.
would spook me.
We'll get to
but,
that. We'll get to that. I gotta say what you
the,
sent me, by the way.
What?
The video you sent me earlier. I gotta make sure it's saved. Anyway, continue with number
But
4.
number 4, Mountains Theater. This won't be your average night at the movies. You'll find out a few theater goers who didn't pay for a ticket. Originally built in 1922 as a silent movie theater and venue for live entertainment, Mountains Theater closed in the late 60s before reopening and undergoing renovations in 2001. However, once the theater reopened, the staff and visitors began to experience some strange occurrences. Many kept seeing a little ghostly girl named Mary, who often appeared on stage bouncing a ball and performing for the audience. Another ghost sighting is a melancholy usher, Jim,
Mary about to break your ankle.
Maybe I'll
who
come
said-
get you.
who said to be walking
Come
the aisles
bust some
looking for his
kneecaps.
lost love. However, there are more malevolent spirits that reside in Mount
Junior's
Theater
head
named...
just popped up.
What?
My cat's head just popped up and stared at the door. And now he's get back to bed
He's
again.
tired.
Hey, don't do that, cat, please.
Because cats can pick up on that, apparently.
Yeah, there's a
door
malevolent
opens.
spirit that resides in Mount Theater named Red, the theater's longtime projectionist. The entity known as Red has a bad temper, curses frequently, and seems to be quite handsy with the staff, who have reportedly been being touched and groped by this hostile ghost.
Huh.
He's a molester.
Fun.
If you can stomach it, the theater offers a
Peter
the
King.
theater offers a Mountain Theater Real Haunted tour, where you can spend an hour touring the venue and learning about the theater's history and its paranormal residents. What are you doing over there?
I was laughing at my own dumb joke. You said theater, and I heard Peter, and I said Peter Kane.
Well, that's
Let's go. Number 5.
number 5. It's not Vergus Trail. Everything's in St. Paul.
I'm gonna look up Vergus Trails. Creepy stories happening while playing Fortnite.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Four Paws Restaurant. I don't know. It's a funky spelling. I don't know how to pronounce it. Located in the historic district of St. Paul, Four Paws Restaurant retains its beauty and 19th century style, bringing the past back to life. However, the ornate Victorian decoration isn't the only thing of the past that's still residing in the building. This mansion was originally built as a private residence for Joseph Fourpow and his family. Unfortunately, the Fourpow family legacy ended in a gruesome and tangled tragedy. Joseph's wife discovered he was having an illicit affair with the maid, Molly, who was carrying Joseph's illegitimate child at the time. Joseph immediately broke off his affair with Molly. However, Molly was so distraught she hanged herself from the third-floor chandelier and threw herself out of a window. When Joseph heard the news of Molly's death, he went out for a walk and shot himself. Staff patrons of Four Powers have cited the apparition of Molly walking around the dining room and setting herself at the tables. A man considered to be Joseph has also been sighted wandering the restaurant, making trips up and down from the basement. Workers have also reported lights turning on and off in the basement, cold chills, and strange noises. I don't like the way you guys are just looking around. I hear the food's great, though, and if you'd like a potentially paranormal meal, head over and reserve a seat at Molly's favorite table. You may find you have an uninvited dinner guest. Good luck.
You just hear a voice. How's your food?
This is
the mashed potatoes are always cold.
The mashed potatoes look good.
Give
me them shoes.
Guys, I found another article.
This little excerpt. This is probably my favorite thing I've ever read about Vergus Trails in the last hour at least. Although there are endless numbers of haunted stories of the Vergus Trails, such as glowing headstones, ghosts of little kids leaving their prints on cars, and of cults chasing people, the one that tops them all is the Hairy Man. But now, the Hairy Man of the Vergus Trails has caught the attention of some famous outsiders. The Hairy Man has gone Hollywood.
Has he now?
There's also, on Fact or Fiction, sorry to interrupt.
It's fine, I was done.
On Fact or Fiction, there was this swing that kept swinging back and forth, and there was this girl used to go on the swing every day, and then she died, but now it just constantly swings, and they're like, wow, it's so creepy, and they put a dome around it, and they're like, oh, it was the wind.
So
maybe the ghost couldn't get through the dome.
I'm on.
It's just like, it's the wind.
I'm on a website just called MinnesotaHauntedHouses.com.
I love that.
There are a lot of places.
That's gonna
Some
be
of these aren't even houses. That's wrong.
Is that gonna be like we went on the registry during that
The what?
The registry when we were doing new stuff. We spent a whole day of work just on the registry looking at near his house.
Yeah.
Ooh, violent offender. 3 doors away from our childhood friend.
Ooh, I think I've seen that guy walking.
I drove by that guy's house every day.
Well, I
he
think
stared
I
at me.
finally reached the end of him.
You want some candy?
God, is this a long
Ooh, that
page.
flashed.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff. So I think this one's put here twice. So it must be extra haunted.
Twice.
It tells you the name of the place, where it's located, and then apparently there's some things about what happened, but you have to click on it to read more, and I don't feel like doing that, so I'll just read as much as they show on this main page. So it's the 40 Club Sports Bar and Grill in Atkins, Minnesota.
Atkins.
I don't know what that is.
Some famous guy was born there, I'm pretty sure.
Well, maybe not in the 40 Clubs. Ghosts.
He invented something.
I
know it.
A
Steve
man
Jobs.
committed suicide there in 1999.
Do you think he was born in
A
California?
man worked at the
Steve
restaurant.
Jobs was made. He was adopted.
Doesn't mean he wasn't born.
It's a joke, Brendan.
When was he born?
He was born
Where was
like
he
19.
born? And
This-
why was he born?
This is just straight up sad.
Why is it?
Oh.
Okay, so a guy named Tom committed suicide in 1999 in one of the upstairs apartments. He was known to be a reliable staff member, and on one of the days he didn't show up to work, when the owners went to check up on him, they found his dead body with his dog curled up beside him. Feels bad, man.
Oh, there's nothing.
Cats will eat you, though,
Yeah.
when you die.
That happens.
Straight up.
Just gone.
Sorry, Junior.
Watch
Sorry,
him
to,
over
Why
a
the
cat.
sorry to out you like that, Junior.
They go, why a football empty? There was a story of this
Who's
guy.
eating this
You are
meat
football
He needed,
now.
I think it. he needed a heart transplant, but he got it from like this crazy guy. I guess is a murderer or something. He's a crazy boy.
Bad boy.
But
What you gonna
after
do?
he got his heart transplant successful, thank you.
Survived. Well, let's give a little round of applause for that guy.
Oh, it gets
Another
worse.
chance at life.
But
Another chance at prison.
once he gets that new heart, but he starts basically going crazy, and
This sounds like a.
he starts like acting like the old guy did.
This sounds like a
Probably creepypasta, but
movie
anyways,
or something. Little boy movie.
I think I read it somewhere, but he
On Reddit?
he like starts like threatening his is either wife or children or something, and then he ends up like going to the shed and killing himself via gun.
All right.
Yeah, it's just.
But that's a thing. Like, I don't know if it's ever gone that far, like medically documented. But there'll be things like if you get a kidney from a guy and that guy loved sugary food and you don't like sugary food that much, you'll find yourself starting to like feel like, ooh, I'm feeling for sugary food.
That's almost like in Breaking Bad when Walter White would
pick
gain
up
the traits.
pick up traits from everybody he's taken out. Like
watched
once he
Breaking
killed Gus, he started to put the towel under his leg when he threw up.
Yeah.
And
I have a question.
ooh, spoilers.
How far is Thief River Falls from here?
I think maybe
like
3
an
hour,
hour
and a half. Sorry, don't know why I said
Who
3.
wants to go to the Dead Man's Trail?
How about we go to the Vergas Trails first?
Now, I don't feel like messing with those cult people.
Well, it might
Thief
not
River
be
Falls
real.
is the
might
did you
be
know it's
real,
the
probably
highest
real.
crime rate in Minnesota. My brother went there for college.
Oh, it has thief in the name.
Yeah,
You know what we should
or it
do?
might be second
Hey,
highest crime rate.
if this video gets so that we don't have to actually go 1 million likes,
We'll go to the Dead Man's
we
Trail.
will go to the Vergas Trails.
Dang it.
100,000 likes, we'll watch a movie.
About the Vergas Trails.
We'll listen to
We'll
people
go watch
tell
YouTube
stories.
videos about if there's anything.
Also, if you're like a YouTube channel with 800,000, 1 million, 2 million subscribers, and you need a
And-
story idea, just talk about say, hey, I'm looking for people who've been to the Vergas Trails. We just said like 4 stories. Just say it.
Wait,
people
I
send
know
in
people
stories.
I went here. In
What is
the Glen Sheen,
The Glen Sheen Mansion.
yeah, in Duluth.
It's
I went
haunted?
there.
I feel like I've
Apparently.
been there. I got pictures.
Oh
of
yeah,
it. I
there's
don't
the guy who
remember, 'cause
got
I was, like,
smothered to
5.
death in there, and they took his jewelry or something.
Yeah, she died when smothered with her pillow, and her nurse Velma something was bludgeoned to death with a candlestick.
Yeah.
I remember.
Was this
You know what's weird about that? Actually, I'm not gonna say
I
it.
went there. That place was interesting.
I went
and
there when I was
nice.
5, and I don't remember.
I went there last
My
year.
parents were like, "Let's go look at the mansion." I'm like, it's not even that cool. I got them like, "Oh, it's a big house." But then I walked down, and then there was like, sadly enough, I was like, "Oh, cool, nice, pretty house." Let me go to the gift shop, and then the thing that caught my eye was a book called "The Murder at Glen Sheen Mansion." My sister was like, "Oh, it's not even that interesting." And I read it, I'm like, "Yo, this one lady got blood suffocated, and the other guy got blood, and the other girl got bludgeoned, and they took this stuff." I'm like,
Is Mankato close to here?
"Yeah, it's 2 hour.
Minnesota State
Hour and a half.
University Mankato is apparently haunted.
That's not fun."
The
You know
university
where
is believed
all
to have
of
a
that-
ghost who likes to ring buzzers and another who steals the toilet paper in the Crawford dorm. What a trickster! Wait, there's also a ghost who
Sounds
goes
like I
on
like
panty raids.
You okay? What happened there? Over your neck?
My neck cracked when I turned
Got
it.
hit by the hairy man.
Hastings, Minnesota, Crosby, Minnesota, St. Paul, St. Joseph, Stillwater,
My mom was born there.
Owatonna,
Fun.
Minneapolis, Jackson, St. Paul,
Jack?
Winona,
Son?
St. Paul, St. Cloud, Two
Son?
Harbors, Trout Lake, Sauk Center. That
Son
is the
Junior?
Palmer House Hotel. Long
Palmer
Lake's close.
Yeah.
Hallbrook Park.
Don't know what that is.
Locals tell a story of a ghostly little girl that can be seen on Sunday nights around 2 a.m.
Sunday Night Football.
Wandering around
Actually,
the park. Reports say if you get too close to her, she vanishes. Later, she returns and she's with the apparition of her father, and she has apples in her apron.
Actually-
the ghost is said to attack anyone that gets too close to them.
guys,
Little girl, you want a bag?
I have a new update. Sorry for interrupting, but
100,000 likes will go to
No.
the Hallbrook
I've
Park
changed
at
it.
2 a.m. on a Sunday.
I've changed it. 250,000 likes is now Vergas Trails. 1 million likes is we're gonna go on the ultimate terrifying Minnesota road trip.
And 500 million likes will join the cult.
No, but you start in Duluth and you go on this big trip. So the locations you go to
here.
are Glen
Moorhead
Sheen,
That's
Railroad
far
tracks.
the old jail bed and breakfast,
going?
Soap Factory, First and First Avenue,
He's talking.
What?
Forp Golf's restaurant, and Wabasha Street
Where?
Caves, St. Paul,
Well,
St.
that's
Paul.
far away.
Gray Cloud Island, It's great
Well,
class.
we got a Moorhead Railroad
Okay.
tracks. A local legend says a woman tried to jump onto a moving train years ago, but missed. Her body was dragged through town, and a ghost is rumored to walk around them with glowing red eyes.
I had a teacher
Don't
and a
like the
coach.
eye part.
Huh?
I had a teacher and a coach who once told us that he had a friend who jumped on the train to get to Fargo quicker.
And
He
And-
was successful.
my dad
He was
told me a story
successful,
about
but it was
using-
going
He
real
broke his leg or
fast.
something?
What?
Did he break his leg or something?
He broke his like arm and leg because he was like, I can either jump off while this train's going 45 miles
I'm
an
gonna
hour,
end up in a different
or
state.
end up in Chicago or California. He just jumped and survived.
You ever see I think there's a video on Instagram of a
Insta-
dude who went from like Dallas, Texas, and jumped on a train and rode to
Oh yeah,
LA.
he rode like for like 4 days or whatever. Yeah, like a week.
Also, my
away.
dad told me one time he used to ride trains to like town, and one time he missed it and went real far away. He had to have someone come give him a ride back.
Yeah, that happens.
There it is again.
St.
I think
Paul, Two Harbors, Stillwater. I feel like I've heard of that place before.
You have.
Pipestone,
It's close.
Lanesboro. Wait. It stopped. Stillwater's close?
Yeah.
This is the Warden's House Museum. The museum dates back to 1853 with the host of Minnesota Territorial Prison Warden and is rumored to be haunted. Henry Wolfer is the last warden to live here, and his daughter Trudy
Finn
got
Wolfer?
married and moved away. She died of appendicitis after she gave birth to her son. Her father raised the baby and yada yada yada.
Father,
Anyway.
what the baby?
The father raised the baby.
Officer
Her,
ate the baby.
her father raised the baby. People have reported an entity of a woman with stomach pains. How do you know she has stomach pains? She's keeling
Ow.
over.
Please help. I need Tums.
Wait, don't hurt.
She shows up after we ate all that food and beat ups. I know you're paying, guys.
Lanesboro, Renville, Warren, Minnesota, Roseville, Red
Yeah,
Wing,
I think.
Hutchinson.
Red Wing Shoe.
You have anything
Taylor
else
Falls,
freaky deaky stories to
Panhandle.
tell?
Oh, not freaky deaky, but I guess it's kind of freaky deaky.
Tell me
Have
about
you
it.
guys what's it called? The
Moorhead
something-
again.
Whoa.
That's too far away.
Moorhead State
The,
University, the Weld Hall.
Oh,
My
there's
sister
more.
went there for a bit.
The what's
Tell
it
me
called?
about it,
Where's
Brandon.
Buell?
What?
Buhl. Buell.
Buell. Buell.
Right across the street.
Oh, it's here.
We're in Buell.
We're in Buell
It
right
was
now.
the warehouse. It was like the skirt warehouse fire or something.
Duluth International Airport.
Oh, the triangles.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Square
triangle.
straight waistcoats.
Mm-hmm.
Triangle square skirt waistcoats. Waco.
Oh, hey.
Waco, Texas, but raid. That's how
Mankota
it
again. Calvary Cemetery. Of course, that's behind the cemetery.
Couple of horses in there.
Rockford, Minnesota. Alexandria, Minnesota.
Oh,
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
So
Pipestone.
Closer.
Duluth. Minneapolis,
Far.
Winona.
Far.
Mankota. Again.
Far.
I think-
R.D. Hubbard House Museum. St. Paul. Montgomery. Minneapolis.
Closer.
Litchfield. St. Cloud. Casson.
Farther.
St. Paul.
Closer.
Luverne.
I don't know.
Hibbing.
No.
Nope.
St. Paul. St.
Nope.
Paul.
Nope.
Closer.
Embarrass.
What? Embarrassed.
That's an emotion.
I think that this is the point where we stop reading all these because
Anoka.
they're getting more.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wait.
Rochester. Walker.
You're just naming off
Walker's
things.
close, I think.
You're just saying Hackensack.
Hoyt Lake. Watkins.
Camp Wilderness.
Rochester. And
Deported.
Menega.
Deporters.
What? Managa.
Managa?
Yeah.
Oh, it's an A. I thought it was an E.
No.
That's an A.
Okay.
Brendan, what would you do if all of a sudden a voice came on your headset like,
Oh,
I'd be-
I'd get in my car and leave.
I wouldn't be here anymore.
what if you just heard someone go
See
like,
that window? I'd be broken because I would jump.
what if you just heard someone go like, can you hear this?
Yeah.
I'd say, no,
Please.
I can't. Goodbye.
I can't hear you, sorry. Because I just heard that. I'm just kidding. But your story about the triangle,
What does that sound?
Someone cutting stuff?
So it sounds like someone's like operating like a bandsaw. Not a bandsaw,
Yeah.
like the table saw.
Yeah. Someone cutting stuff out there in your shop?
That's what it sounds like.
Unless someone else listen. Anyway.
could be a cicadas
Cicada.
making the
no,
zzz sound.
cicadas they sound different.
They don't sound like that. They're not quite that loud.
Should we go open the window? See what's going
No.
I don't want to be a ghost out
I'm just going to stay up all night and sleep tomorrow.
I mean, it is already almost 4.
For those of you who don't know, we started this later than we planned. We got back from our adventure at 10:30, 11. We're like, oh, we're going to film this thing, get out here. So I need
Sherman
boys home
Oaks.
at 1, and I go to sleep right away.
Yes.
We had a whole different kind of episode kind of plan. It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny. Be jovial. We're going to tell stories about the week. Then something
So
happened. What?
We saw
Spider-Man Far From Home. We're
That's
going
a
to
good
review
movie.
that. Should we make that another episode we film right after this one's
Yeah.
done?
No.
We better get that review out soon. I liked it. Loved it. 10 out of 10.
Liked
I'm
it,
not-
loved it, had to have it.
I like it, love it, gotta have it.
Good
Coastal
twist at the
Creamery.
end.
I got 9.5 out of 10.
You know, some people think. Spoiler alert! Some people think that Mysterio died.
Some people do think that.
They do. They also think the Earth is flat.
There are also people who think that what was it? That all of Avengers Endgame can be undone, and I say no.
What do you mean?
Like you're like, oh, you can bring so and so
There's also a
back.
thing where like it's like Black Widow is still alive. You're just like, oh, stop, just let.
No,
just let
the girl
story
who
happen.
jumped
Yeah.
off was a Skrull. The real Nat is still alive. It's like, dude, just
They were all Skrulls.
Yeah, everyone just happens to be a scroll.
spoiler
They're all
alert. Happy
doing
Hogan's a
what- they're all
Skrull.
doing what Nick Fury did.
Nick
and
Fury.
just went on a vacation.
Yeah. I was like, when I first saw that, I was like, that's terrible green screen. Like, what the heck? They think they fool us? And then it zooms out, and it's just a picture. I was like, oh, okay, I understand now.
Now, Brendel Brixton, you better
Yeah,
put
dude.
a little spoiler tick during this section.
What?
Just to be sure people know.
Talking spoilers.
Put a little
It's been out
spoiler
for- it's
alert
been out
and
for
then
2 weeks. 3 weeks.
yeah, but my parents and my brother still don't see it. My sister still doesn't see it.
What, do they watch this? Listen to it?
No, but I mean, other people might not have watched. Is my point. So just to be safe, maybe put like spoilers from.
You put a little spoiler warning in there, voice, I think.
I said spoiler alert, but it was as you were saying the spoiler. Oops, I just opened Minecraft.
I don't feel like that wasn't an accident.
I almost closed the recording thing. No. We've been going for an hour and a half, but we're not even close to done.
That face.
No, we're done. Yeah, so that we're gonna have a nice little fun little episode. We got back from our adventure. We had some food. I was feeling not so good. We made it home. We didn't even have a single scary encounter on the way home, or to my house anyway.
Nine- 911.
Besides the semi that got beamed.
The backward semi that got.
Or the
there.
thing in the middle of the road. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, the
Oh yeah, the
grass that we
hay.
thought was just like.
I thought it was sand. I thought we were gonna
I thought
die.
it was a dead deer.
I thought it was like a rock. I was like,
Dead
ooh, it's
deer.
just that careless.
Dead deer. I can't remember where I heard this story, but some guy was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What was your creepiest thing?" I don't know. Someone was telling a story. Might have been like an online deal or an interview or something. So I was like, "Yeah, I was driving down the road late at night with a buddy, and we're driving down the road, and we get to this point where there's just like 10 dead, like decapitated deers in. I think I've already told you this story, and they're dead. I didn't experience it. Someone else did. They said the story. 10 like dead decapitated deers in a perfect circle, like they'd been arranged, and they're like." Reverse.
Just I'm gonna.
We'll
take
find a different way
road.
to get to our destination.
Yeah, if I saw that, I'd just drive into a tree.
Just
It's like, this is too much. I don't know.
Because if that's some
Oh.
paranormal stuff,
Or just some kids just being,
Yeah.
what kind of kid puts a bunch of decapitated deer in a
Dom-
circle?
or like what kind of animal would do that?
Dahmer was close by. He went to Minnesota for a little bit. He did.
I don't think any animal would do that. Most animals don't decapitate things.
They don't
Yeah.
decapitate themselves and put them and arrange themselves in a perfect circle.
Yeah, that doesn't
Ooh.
happen.
My first day mowing the cemetery, humble brag.
You real
The,
spooky
What a
boy.
humble
I ran
brag.
across just the leg of a deer, just hanging out in the middle.
Yeah, you
of
sent me
the
a picture of that.
cemetery.
Help, and it's just the leg of the deer.
Yeah, it's just a leg of a deer. I was just like, I don't want to do
we
that.
found a deer
One time
leg in
when I
our.
was, when I was out hunting, we're in like a this is a grassy area, we're pheasant hunting. I stumbled across just the leg of a deer and I carried it with me.
It's probably we were just thinking like it's probably just the coyote got scared.
But like it wasn't like bony at all. The one
There
I
was-
found, it was
And
just,
mine
like,
was it looked like it just got cut off.
Yeah, there was.
I was
We found a
thrown
deer
in.
leg in our sandbox when I was younger.
There's what?
Just a leg of a deer, like you were describing. It's like no bone, just like perfectly
I
like
think
looked like it
coyotes,
just got
coyotes do
chopped
that.
off.
They'll just they'll carry it and they'll get tired and then they don't want to carry it anymore.
Sounds like we're 3 for 4 on deer legs.
one of these days we're gonna find an actual deer.
when they,
Yeah,
No,
right here.
We're gonna build it. Help.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, Alan didn't see it at first, so he was gonna run over. I was like, no, stop! I was like, what is it? Oh, he just sees the leg.
I
yeah.
hope when I'm driving home we don't come across that bear again. I have
Oh, the bear that's
I think I have
nearby?
an update to the bear story.
Just spill it.
One time
Oh,
when I was, it was a day later or 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving home from work, and a bear cub ran across the road in front of me. I was like, oh, okay.
Cute. Oh, if you're there, someone else bigger and more.
Oh, if you're
means
there and I
nearby.
stay here for too long, Mom Bear's gonna destroy my windshield.
Yeah, like it was far away where I'm 99% sure it was a bear
Yeah.
or a dog, but it didn't look like it had a tail much like a dog. It looked like
Did
a
it
little nerd.
hobble like a bear, or was it like a?
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of.
Well, that's like
It
the-
definitely wasn't like a skunk or anything, because skunks have long tails. This thing didn't look like it had
Yeah.
a tail.
I just know my mom actually owned a skunk when she was little.
You had a raccoon.
I did, but my mom when she had a skunk. It never sprayed, only one time. But that's because her dad was closing the fridge and it bonked its little head and it sprayed a little bit.
It's
got scared.
That's the equivalent of someone getting scared and pissing himself.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
My mom also owned a red squirrel.
Ooh.
It was a little friend. It got a little too rambunctious. So you're like, okay, leave.
Get out.
Yeah.
Did you ever own any exotic animals?
I just informed you owned a raccoon. You didn't know that until 3 minutes ago.
Oh, his name was Frederick. He was adorable. He climbed up trees.
Oh, how fun. Oh.
Gave him to a little what's it called? State park thing.
To jump back a topic.
Oh, for sure dead by now.
To jump back a topic
like
to what
2 years.
you were talking about, like seeing in your car. There's something weird about when you're in a car that you just feel like, oh yeah, I'm good. Almost like you can be driving. Like I'll think about what if like these people who are driving in the Safari and they're like, oh no, there's a cheetah. I'm like, you're in a car, you're safe. But you think about, oh, a cheetah just boom, windshield broken, you get eaten.
No, windshield. I don't think windshield will break. It would more just like push in.
Have
Yeah.
you ever seen that like video? Of, like,
Yeah,
is that the lion
They
opening
bite-
the
the
door?
lion opens the door.
the door.
And it just
And you're
freezes
so-
and it's like the JoJo. Doom, doom, doom.
Dun, 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 dun.
That video.
We
is good.
continued.
Yeah, I don't know about like car. I mean, yeah, like cars give a sense of safety when it comes
Any
to
animal easily
Yeah.
outweighs my car.
Yeah, but like a person, I'd
No,
be
yeah.
uncomfortable with because they can do things.
My
People
brother-
can work a door handle. A bear is gonna be like
lions.
token lines, yeah.
My brother actually hit a deer one time, except the deer like hit him. He was driving to the movie theater, and this deer came out and just smashed into the side of his car.
I don't understand deer because like they like when I'm driving and they'll be just standing on the side of the road.
Like,
and
don't you dare.
I slow down just in case a little idiot runs across.
Yeah.
Speaking of like weird, like speaking of like roadkill and freaky things in the road, have you seen that video of the lady who's like, it's like, this is why you don't get out of your car at night, and she parks her car and there's like an animal or a dog in the road, and she gets out and she's like, walks over to the dog and like, oh, there's gonna be a jump scare, and then the dog jumps up, gets in the car and starts driving.
I don't think I've ever had that happen.
I almost
The dog
did.
man.
I've had Junior trying to steal my car.
I
sometimes.
still in your car and Alan's car.
You stole my car one time and you
With
left
Ben.
me. I was like, oh, I'm alone, but I'm next to a field.
Yeah, he went outside to go to the bathroom, and we were in the, like on that road over there.
It was like, yeah,
And
alright,
he got out and went to do his thing. So I got in the driver's seat and took off.
that time I was
I said to
okay.
Alan because Alan, we were in the Walmart parking lot. And he was looking at some rugs, and I was like, I don't want to be here, so I just took his car and drove it away.
That time I was okay when you get here because I'm like, okay, my cousin's house is here, my house is
I wouldn't
there.
have gone. I didn't go that
Yeah,
far.
but I was like, I wasn't that like afraid, I guess you could say. But that time that I got out after the first time we all went to B-Dubs with Alan, and I got out to pee, going down that road with
Walmart.
nowhere, I was like, half of the time I was like, oh, if Brendan takes the car, I have no idea where I am. It's pitch black.
I think you took the keys with you though.
I might have. I probably did just because that thought went through my
Yeah.
head.
I
But
would-
that's
if-
like
I would have not left you
Yeah.
because I would be like, if someone left me, I would have been pissed.
because it was pitch black, like 10:30 at night or 11 o'clock at night, and we've been talking about some spooky stuff before that, like all the, weird things.
Here's the thing: the middle of nowhere is a lot scarier at night than it is during the day.
Well, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you can't see it.
Like if you're rolling through like cornfields in Montana during the like wheat fields and stuff in Montana, like I've done, it's like in the day it's like, oh, this is just beautiful, and just like rolling hills. If I drove through that at night, I'd just be like, do not stop the car.
Here's the thing: during the day you can see stuff
Yeah.
coming up on you. At
Corn-
night, things are a lot more hidden and stuff.
Corn is always a little bit the creepiest crop, shall we say? Because
'cause
like
there's children
dudes,
there.
dudes could just be standing in, like you could be like come across some guys like, please help me jump my car. If it's by a cornfield, I'm gonna go. There could be 4 guys there ready to
my
jump
brother's
me.
friend, they had a cornfield, and one of their friends like took off into the cornfield. It was daylight.
Daylight.
And they just
Shooting
got
something.
off and ran to the cornfield, and my brother's other friend got out, ran to the cornfield, and it was like right behind this kid. So he pushed a cornstalk down and went straight up into the other kid's face and like broke his nose,
Jesus.
and he's bleeding everywhere.
I thought you were gonna say they found somebody else in their corn or
Oh
something.
no! Oh, you remember the Oh, this is 100% fake, but it was really creepy when it happened. The homecoming game with all the remember
Security guys or whatever.
Oh yeah, they had to show up because everyone's freaking out.
About what?
Oh yeah, there was.
They said that there was people in the cornfield taking kids and just beating the crap out of them and throwing them back.
Yeah.
Like.
And we were like, "Ooh, let's go get beat up."
The things that going back to the whole scary at night thing. That's like when I was talking about the story when I was going to the parking lot from work with Caleb, and there's that dude. That wouldn't have been scary had it been daytime, but the fact that it was 11:30 at night.
For sure, it'd be scary at daytime.
I thought you were. I thought it happened during the daytime.
No, if he's just huffing and puffing,
no,
looking at you, I'd be like, "Don't come here."
There's this story.
Look in the other direction.
That'd be scary, but it'd be less scary during the day because there's a lot more people around during the day than there are at 11:30 at night.
Yeah, that reminds me of this story.
But daylight
would still be terrifying. Oh yeah,
it'd be less scary during the day.
That reminds me of this one story of this guy who's driving, and this guy walks up out of like the field, and he's like, "Oh, hitchhike," and he's wearing like an old-fashioned suit and stuff. Where did I hear a story? It was probably one of these weird, creepy videos online. And this guy gets in the suit, and they're driving, and he's like, "Oh, where are you headed?" He's like, "Oh, I'll let you know," or whatever. And they drive for a while, and eventually he goes, "Oh, pull over here," and he stops, and the guy he's like, "Oh," he has to go in the field. He's like, "Oh, he's probably gotta use the restroom." Like 10 minutes past, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Dang, this guy must have like some terrible issues. He must have eaten some beat ups or something. He's sitting in there like, or some Taco Bell or something. He's sitting in there, and he's like, "Oh, dude, what the heck?" And then he's like, "Okay, it's been half an hour. This guy's definitely just like effing with me. I'm just gonna take off." He starts driving, and in his rearview mirror, the guy comes sprinting out, and he's chasing the car full speed, like keeping up with it for a few seconds, and just sprints after him. And then eventually, he just like, "Wah!" This old pickup truck, probably older than your one, worse than your one, just flooring it, pedal to the metal, and he gets out of there. And he gets home, he tells his wife, and his wife's like, "No way, no, like, you're."
Guy shows up, "You left me."
And then he's like, "Oh, they're like, no way. And so then he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, because my coworkers at work told me a similar story, and they said it's like a urban legend, right? Because they just moved to that community." So he had no way to know about the urban legend, and still he had that encounter and told his wife, and she was like, "No." She didn't believe him for like 3 months until finally he was like, "Yeah, it happened." And then they got the coworker to say, "I never talked to your husband." So that's freaky.
Could just be a guy that does that too.
Yeah, probably just some weirdo. I'm gonna scare some people.
Take off.
Imagine that your job. Come on, go.
Go. Yes.
And then you're like sitting there. Come on, go. And then that guy hears something behind him. Okay, time to go for it.
All right, I'm gonna go early.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. No, there's another one in Japan about a guy who's teaching in Japan. He's like a Westerner.
Oh, Logan Paul.
No. He didn't teach much.
Yeah,
that's what not to do in Japan.
There's a guy teaching in like Japan, and they were like talking about ghosts. Like, "Oh, I think I saw a ghost once. It was at this place." He described some like street corner, and everybody in the room's like, "No!" They're all freaking out and like, "Stop! Shut up!" And then they're like, "What?" And then one of the teaching aides like, "That's like a really haunted place, like an urban legend. Like, you're a Westerner, you've been here for 2 days. There's no way you were told that story." So it was just something like that. Like he had some encounter there, and
you're just like, "Yeah, stop talking. We're on this little continent. We can't get off it." But
stop talking. In 3 months, you get to go back to Britain. We don't. We're stuck here. This is where we live. This is where we were born, live, and die.
Yeah, there's this whole stigma about like taking pictures of like the can't remember the actual real name, the suicide forest.
Yeah.
That you're not even supposed to take pictures of it because it's like bad energy.
Yeah. Logan Paul did it. I didn't like that video. There's some kids not kids, but some like teenager 20-year-old guys.
They went out there specifically looking for it. And you're just like, "Oh."
Well, not looking for dead bodies, but they were like, they had some video like they were like talking about creepy stuff like 500. They did something what we did. Like 500,000 likes. We'll go to the suicide forest for like a day or a night, and they did it. And they found like deer bones, and they're like, "Oh, dude, if there's a deer here, that means there's a bear or something bigger here that eats deer."
Are there bears in Japan?
Not like, I don't know, but something was. They're like,
they swim.
They're like where there's a predator.
Yeah,
there's a deer. There's a bigger deer.
And then they're like, "Sun's up at 6 a.m. We're good to go." And then they're like 4:30. They're like, They're like 5:30. They're like,
it's light enough.
Like, we should start seeing light. And they're like, "Oh shit, I'm an idiot. Mount Fuji's right there. The sun comes up at 6, but it'll be 9 before the sun gets down here in the forest. Plus, we have the canopy. So, like, we got to find our way back." And they start heading back, and this could be staged, but all of a sudden, all their markers they were tying were starting to be, like, disrupted, and a few of them were removed, and so, like, getting freaked out. And they like, were looking, and they were, like, just had a flashlight, and their flashlights started, like, glitching out and, like, blinking and going out, and they're getting freaked out, and, like, our phones are at, like, 12%, 8%, 35%, and then they get to this part, and just there's like, that dude might be hanging, but he looks like he's just sitting on that log. There's some dude just sitting there, like 300 yards away from him, and like zoom in, like, is that guy dead? And they're like, we got to go back, and they start finding like things removed and like ties removed and stuff, and then they finally get back to the car, and the white car they've been sitting for like 3 weeks is still sitting there, low tires. They get in their car, they're like, yeah, we're not doing anything like that ever again.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of this country.
Unless we get 1 million likes, then we'll do a USA road tour or something like that.
I've got a question.
Yeah?
Did you ever shut off that light in there?
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I remember being on, and
Yeah,
now it's off.
It was on. I turned it off before I
Okay,
closed
I
it.
had heart attacks. I remember seeing that on last time I looked down there, and I didn't see it off, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah. I saw you looking at it, like, is it all back on again? Because, yeah, I turned it off.
I didn't think you turned it off.
Yeah.
I don't remember you turning it off.
I turned it off before we started.
Did he?
After I dug through all the
I
stuff.
don't think you did.
I remember turning it off.
You sure?
Okay.
Because I remember
you just get freaked out for absolutely no reason.
I remember
I don't remember him turning
I
it
remember
off. It's off.
I remember thinking about the lighting
I
and
wanna
going,
make sure
if
the
there's
light
light
was
coming
off.
from there, I might mess with our cool lighting. So I just decided to turn the light off over there. Now, if those lights turn off, we're in trouble. But yeah, I turned
Or
that
someone
light off.
starts standing there just like, hey, can you back up from the door?
Just Luke, Minecraft, please.
Minecraft. Go outside. Luke, no. Luke? And just,
So anyway,
This is just an overall spooky episode.
this has been a spooky episode spurred by an issue that happened. Your computer turned off.
It just went dark.
I'm sleeping with these lights on daylight mode.
I'm probably not sleeping till the sun rises. And
Oh,
then I have to
okay.
go to
Something
work.
about the sun
leave
being,
till
but then if
sunrise.
I feel like the sun's gonna go up, I'll see some guy with a chainsaw. Yeah, I'm not making all that noise outside.
you guys can sleep up there?
Some guy building like a shack out there. Oh hey, I'm your uncle. No, you're not.
I'm your neighbor. Ooh, gonna be gone soon.
I don't think so.
Like, oh, by the way, Roderick hung himself in the laundry room. Roderick hung himself in the laundry room. Haunted houses. Yeah. So,
Are we finally gonna get into
anything else you guys want to touch on creepy wise before we step into the reason we started this
in the
tangent?
first place? Yeah.
Anyone else have anything
No.
else to add?
I don't have anything.
I feel like I'm gonna think of 10 more after this, but
Oh well.
Yeah,
okay.
go for it.
So, I have, as I said, probably an hour ago in this podcast.
Oh, hour 40.
Hour and a half, hour
Yeah.
40.
How far into this are we?
Hour
Hour
47-ish.
Okay, let's stretch this out to 3 hours. No thanks. So I have smart lights. I have like I said earlier, I have LED strips underneath my corner desk. I have smart lights that I can control with my phone and my phone only because that's signed in. On my phone, I have password protected and everything. And so we're sitting there, we're getting set up, and I would have the recording going, and not quite yet because we're getting set up and all this. And it took us an extra hour to set up all the mics and stuff. And I'm like, okay, fine. And so I'm like, all right, the lights have been kicking in. We had it in daylight mode. I'm like, all right, I'm turning it to teal mode or blue mode or whatever, color mode. Before we get started, turn it to color mode, get it all vibing up. All of a sudden, one of the lights starts tweaking out and turning into red. And I'm like, oh, no, I spent money on these light bulbs. I went for the cheap $9.88 per bulb bulbs and not the $42 Philips Hue like some rich guys do.
Yeah.
And then the light behind me tweaks to red. And I go, this is weird. And so I go into my phone and I correct them. I'm like, okay, now they're going to behave. And all of a sudden they turn like green. And I go, okay. I go, you know what? It's blue and red because those are the colors I always have it set to. It's probably going back to a preset because of a glitch. It's probably I have to return them. Then the light behind me goes green. And I'm like, well, I did have it that same color of dark green yesterday. That's good. Probably just a glitch. All of a sudden, we start to get, I can't remember how it started. I think you, Boston, might have started by saying, like, change the light or something. I can't remember what.
Whenever stuff like this happens and I didn't have an explanation for it,
You just kind of went on a vibe.
this might be something.
Paranormal.
I'm going to record and see if it's something, and if it responds, we've got something.
Yeah, and so Boston said something like, can you make the light go back to normal? Boom, went back to normal like a second later. And then he goes, can you make the other light go back to normal? Boom, goes back to normal. And then we're like, okay, the light's just corrected, whatever. And Boston goes, make the light orange. Light goes orange. After like a second delay. And then he goes, how about the light in the corner? Light in the corner goes orange. And so we're getting freaked out now. And so we just keep doing this, and it's responding every single time perfectly. Then we ask him to change the LED strips. But then we're like, okay, that's not whatever. Those ones weren't changing because I had the remote by my side, and I'm like, no, you're not touching this remote. And so then Boston goes, I got to get this on film. He pulls out his camera, and he starts doing the same thing. So there's like a minute and a half of footage that I hope Brixton can edit in at this portion in the podcast, and then we jump back to audio. But yeah, that was spooky dooky. And we'll also probably upload that as like a solo upload the day after the podcast comes out.
I just put it at the end.
Yeah. Well, there's just... Yeah, just put it at the end or so that people have to wait and so we get watch time. Yeah. So it just kept on happening. And we couldn't figure it out. And so then in the video, you'll notice, Boston goes, this is Jack's phone. Here, this is what controls it. Maybe we should get a video of me demonstrating how it's controlled by my phone or something so people don't think there's no way this is faked. Because the last thing I want is someone to go, oh, you faked that. We wanted to do a funny show.
We just wanted to record a podcast and then...
Yeah, we wanted to record a funny show. And then I was going to start asking questions to try to like gauge it. Like I was going to go, turn the light yellow if you're mad at us. Or turn the light green if you enjoy spending time with us. None of that or I didn't actually get around to those questions because at that point we're like, the lights just stopped changing all of a sudden. And we were like, okay, this is good. So that's what got us on this whole tangent. Video proof to go along with it. It was really like odd.
They went back to normal. They stayed normal. We decided to do the podcast.
After like 25 minutes of them being normal, like, all right, let's do this. Because I'm the only one signed into Sherman Oaks, my fake house.
Alright. That's the story of what...
That's the story. Should we go on, have you ever seen a ghost? 5 most common types of ghosts. Try to document which kind we ended up with. Like it's a BuzzFeed quiz.
I love BuzzFeed quiz.
I think we got the number 1. We got the interactive personality. A deceased person, someone you know, perhaps a family member, even a historical figure. The only other people who've lived in this house are my family members. Up to like my great uncle who built this place. They can become visible, which didn't happen. They can't. Imagine if they showed up right there.
That'd be some spooky.
They can become visible. He shows up. Hey, I'm your great uncle who built this place.
I'm your grandpa.
50 years ago. The lights turn on in the closet. Hey!
I'm watching that closet now.
If they're back on at the end of this, I'm sleeping in my brother's room and locking this door. I mean, Luke's move over. So I think that's what we got. We got the interactive personality.
What are the other ones?
The other ones are the ectoplasm or ectomist, which is a mist or fog that looks like it's swirling.
Slimer.
The poltergeist, this is what we could have gotten. This is the noisy ghost. This one doesn't really, like, you can't really see it very well, but it just moves stuff and changes stuff. So it could have been that. Then we have orbs. Orbs are most notably, they're photographed like little ball guys. Kind of boring.
Be like a what's it called? Lens flare. We're like, oh, it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Well, lens flares don't exactly happen when you're in a pitch
My
black.
sister and her friends took all these pictures in the basement. Like, there's orbs in some of these, and then they realized, oh, it's a reflection from the sun.
It's a smudge on the screen.
Yeah.
Man.
Like, oh wait, they're like, wait. I'm like, have you guys noticed that the orb is here in this picture on this little grid, here in this picture on this little grid, and here in this picture on this little grid? It's the same freaking spot.
I feel like the orbs are only really like can be like counted as something.
It's an orb, or it's a dust particle.
If it's on the camera and it's clearly not the same as dust particles.
Like sometimes they catch them moving and stuff. You're like, hey, stop it.
Yeah, like sometimes they do like funky, not normal movements, and like it's pitch black. So it's just like that shouldn't be doing that.
Why is there so much light in this node?
Why are there a lot of these little speckles where there's no light?
It's making a smiley face. It's just Jen. It's just like one of these. Just bam.
So we got. I don't know.
What is that called? This thing. This thing. Bam.
The OK sign.
No, yeah, like the upside down OK sign. Like gotcha.
Got him. But yeah, basically we got either the interactive ghost, but he didn't say anything, or we got the poltergeist.
Kind of quiet.
Turn that light blue.
Poltergeist would knock that thing over.
Yeah.
Poltergeist would throw one of those little figures
He was
at you.
probably just a nice friend.
Poltergeists tend to not be nice though.
Yeah.
Poltergeist would take that
but then
and throw it on Jaden.
But don't poltergeist like
knock that whole shelf off onto Jaden.
Don't do it, please.
Please don't do it.
I'd rather not have a shelf.
I've tried many things. I got so pumped, can I say, when that happened? Because I've tried things like that. I've been like, if there's anybody here, make a noise. And then something will fall and I go, do it again, and nothing will happen. And I'm like, okay.
Do it again now.
I go, please do it again to prove to me that
Dude,
this
if
is not a
there's a ghost here,
coincidence.
clean my room.
Like, I'll be like,
come back. I knew it.
My mom cleaned it, but no. But everybody thinks I'll be gaming, and I'll be like, come on, just give me a sign. Or I'll be like thinking, and I'll be talking out loud to myself because I do that. Sometimes I'll go, I don't know why I feel like I'm just talking to somebody. If there's anybody here, do something, and nothing will happen. Maybe I'm just insane.
You're just playing a game. Give me a
But then
sign.
when that was happening, I was like, and then when Brendel Brickson was like, "Oh, you stupid ghost can't even change the light," I was like, "Dude, he's being nice. Just calm down."
Don't be mean.
I
That's
wish
what
you
I,
guys are being very
I
demanding.
wish I had
about
asked
it.
those questions
I
and it was
know
still
you weren't.
responding.
Here, you're like, change it. I guess you can't change the light. Is
I
that-
was
it's
saying,
just,
I was saying, please.
just makes the light bulb explode.
And then I was like, "Gotta be nice. Gotta be nice. Gotta be nice. Gotta be nice." Oh, thank. That's a really cool
I
trick.
say
And then
please,
stopped.
thank you, and compliment on it.
Well,
Meh.
once we said that's a cool trick, thank you, put it back to normal. And then like 5 minutes, I was like, "Oh, I should ask about if it's evil
It
or
would be
whatever."
freaky if it started flashing Morse code. You're like, I'm not gonna solve that. You can keep blinking.
Sorry,
Maybe it
I
wasn't.
don't speak blink.
Morse code is like, "Hello, Jack. How are you doing? I'm your great great uncle."
That's not how Morse
It's
code goes.
dots and dashes per letter. Like, I'm not gonna decipher that. Blink all you want.
Yeah, I was doing it. You want me to go H E L O?
This just kind of
Hello,
this-
Jack.
this
Hello,
reminded
Jack.
me of
Don't do a
something that
sprinkler
actually
every-
kind of happened recently in my basement
What?
with my computer.
It started blinking, flashing.
Well, not
Open that
Flashing
door right
Charlie.
now
Like,
if you're here.
I put my computer on to sleep,
If you're friendly.
where pretty much like the only
Yeah,
thing
put it
that
to bed.
the
Turn the
only
light
thing
on.
that would produce a light on there is like the power button would like blink upwards.
Uh-huh.
But then when I was sleeping, I'd randomly wake up and it'd be on, and
What?
it happened 2 or 3
Does
times.
Charlie walk on it?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Positive.
It's not an area where you walk
If
on.
my cats can close my computer, Charlie can walk on that.
It's not on a spot
He
you
can get
walk
his
on.
fat little butt up there and start
No,
smashing keys.
it's
left
not
Start
on
right.
a
walking
spot
around.
he would walk on.
He could be.
And plus, his whole paw would go over it and wouldn't press down.
You
The
know.
button's not very big.
Okay, I'm lost. What happened?
The computer would turn back on after I'd put it to sleep.
My TV does that, but that's because my cat's walking on my remote. Not going downstairs. Oh, TV's on. Go.
Yeah, my
Ghost got a little
I can't walk on the power button like that.
Bet.
Yeah. Fun times.
Yeah.
For
Spooky
sure.
times.
Spooky times. Ooh.
Well, we've almost been recording for an hour or 2 hours now.
Whoa.
So, should we wrap it up? Oh my god, it's in red.
It's red. Moon's purple.
That's not purple.
Turquoise.
Actually, I think changing colors must have been putting a strain on them. Just turn them off. Cut the power to the
Good
whole.
job. Cut the part of the whole house. That would be terrible.
That would be. I would
That
just,
would,
I'd
I
be
would
like,
piss
freaking,
myself.
just pitch black and be like, what the fuck?
Your phone shuts off. You're like,
Because-
cat cuddle.
Because right now we're comfortable because we have light.
Kind of.
Imagine not
If the
having
light was
light.
gone,
I'm gonna turn
I
off
would
these.
be gone as well.
I'm just trying to use my Corsair mouse pad. Stop training me. That was epic. Can I say
Yeah.
that we got video of evidence of possibly a ghost?
Yeah.
Almost the length of Endgame.
What?
This podcast.
No, it wasn't.
Endgame's
Like
3 hours and
Avatar.
1 minute. So we're
Have-
running
Have you
for.
guys seen Avatar?
Yeah.
I'm just having
Jack?
fun. I'm not even. I just don't want you guys to leave yet.
Avatar.
Have you seen Avatar?
Sure.
Blue people walking. Couple arrows left and right. They learn how to use guns.
That was a good movie.
I don't remember it. I just remember James Cameron directed it.
I hope Avatar 2
No,
is
peop-
like a flop.
People are always like, oh,
I really
Avatar
do.
has such a like people don't know the plot, but they just like, yeah, it's a good movie. I
Yes.
remember the plot.
I don't remember.
I
it.
don't.
have to watch it again.
I never
remember
watched
the
it.
Plot. I thought it was a good movie. It was my favorite movie for a long time.
I thought it was good.
Part of it is like
It's
the
only got like
reason.
an 84 Metascore or like Rotten Tomato score.
You know why that movie made so much? I might be wrong on this, but I think the reason is because IMAX tickets were so much more in 2009.
Mhm.
Everybody watched Avatar on an IMAX or 3D screen because it
You
was
had to.
brand new. So everybody paid like $30 for a ticket then. Most of the Endgame average ticket price is like $14. 14 versus theirs is like 22. So of course, I mean, yeah, that could be
Also,
why
the
they're
movie was
grossing more.
pretty. They had
Yeah.
amazing like. CG.
All of it was. They had. I think it was like one of the first movies that ever did like full CG.
Yeah.
And it looked amazing.
I've seen clips of it. And I was like, oh, it holds up.
It
Like
looked- it
I've
looked
seen
good.
better CG, but it holds up.
It looked good.
What years it came out? Did it come
Like 2013.
out?
2009, I
2012?
think.
I think 2012.
2009
Hold on,
Avatar.
I'll look this up.
Right?
2007.
You're just yelling at
2007.
numbers.
And it's actually a 1960s movie.
I think
Wow, how did our technology go down from that?
2009.
I think 2007.
I bet it's 09.
I bet it's
You know what the saddest thing would be if everything in this room turned off? We'd lose 2 hours of
It did
beautiful
come out
audio.
2009. I thought it was later than that.
See, I'm getting messages from the interactive ghost telling me what time the movie came out.
He's pointing my brain.
His favorite movie.
Wake Junior up if you're in here. Touch him on the shoulder.
One scene I remember.
What if he
is
just
like,
got up and was like yelling to get out?
I thought it was such a cool idea of like
I'd
going to
get
those little pods
I'd get
and
with
become one of the Avatar people.
Yeah.
I would like that.
That
You know,
would-
people
One scene I remember is the crippled. I think it was the crippled guy.
Yeah, that's the main character.
didn't people.
He was might have been like one of his friends or something. He was the blue guy. He got shot, and he rolls out of his thing. He's just like, he's just freaking out.
Wasn't there a thing where people like killed themselves because they were like, I'm never gonna get to go to that place
That sounds like
From-
something that would happen.
from the movie?
Avatar 2 is supposed to come
Yeah.
out in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
I'm looking up.
Avatar fans suicidal because planet Pandora is not real.
That is. What? That's sad.
Avatar increases U.S. suicide rate. Cameron held responsible.
Maybe is it because it's so beautiful that people are like, will we actually experience that?
Yeah.
Because when I was watching, I remember feeling strong emotions, but not like that.
Pretty much people are like, damn, this place looks amazing. Too bad it's not real. I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Maybe it was a political move.
political move.
Do you guys y'all know about the friendly ghosts? Like my boy Casper.
Yeah.
Gregory.
Well, I heard a story on here on the internet about someone had a ghost like named Peter, and it was just like their third roommate.
Peter.
He-
Right.
Peter says, "Hey, what's up? Let's
Hey,
play some
Lois,
PC game."
Sleeping?
Hey, Lowish.
But yeah, they were just having fun with their new roommate Peter Kane. Not Peter Kane, regular Peter.
No, we were talking about a different Peter.
We're talking about different Peter.
Not Lois Peter.
Not
What are
Lois.
you
Just
talking
Peter.
about?
No, but and so they were just like at first Peter was like a little bit off. They heard like their dishes all get thrown on the ground, walk in, they're all put away
you
clean.
not?
Not me. That's not very nice.
And then eventually they just
No dinner for you.
eventually they just like called him Peter, and he just stopped being annoying. He like moved stuff and things, and then they were like, "Is there any way we can help you move on to the next life?" And Peter was like, "I'm good." And then they moved to another house across like the way in
follow
like
him?
their town house, and then nothing happened. I just thought I heard someone say "hello," but it was just me hitting the spring, I think.
Wait, you tuning?
What?
Wait, you tuning?
It's not like guitar.
You're a guitar.
I once played an electric guitar. I didn't know how to do it.
I play ukulele. Barely.
You once played ukulele once in your life.
I have. Barely did it.
What would you do if you were driving home and you saw a dog on two legs with no
I'd be
tail?
like, oh, why
Dog,
my
man.
dog out here?
What if you were driving home and you saw me in the field going, "Hi,"
Oh, if I actually saw you, you'd be like,
and then you call me? I'm like, "What? I'm in bed."
That'd be spooky.
Let's just
There's
shut up, I'm in
stories
the
like
field.
that I've heard on the internet.
What?
Are you in the field? Yeah, shut up. I'm trying to pick weeds.
Yeah, I've heard stories like that on the internet of like I was driving with my friend, or we were with my friend, and then one of our friends stumbles off to use the bathroom or whatever, and then we can't find him. And then I'm looking, we had to look for our friend, and then I hear the other guy, because there's like three guys there. One went off to pee, the other two are like, "Oh, we gotta go look for him." And here's the other guy, and he sees him like, "Hey, come here." And he's like, "What's going on?" "Hey, come here." He just kept saying that same phrase. And then eventually the other guy like taps him on the shoulder like, "Yo, that's not me." And they're like,
Yo, it's me.
they look back and the guy's like, "Come here again." Like,
It's like, yeah.
they just start backing up slowly, and the thing's like, "What? Come here." And that's all it could say. And they get back to the truck, and their friends there, and they're like, "We're going." And they just take off.
You know, that sounds like a skinwalker.
That's probably what it was.
Come here. I'd rather not.
You know what's
Like, the whole thing
creepy
is like they take the form of something and
Yeah.
they're like, hey.
is how close I am to like a native reservation. How close we all are, really.
Yeah.
Because like
Are you
right,
asking?
not that far. What?
Are you asking?
Well, I know how close we all are, but I'm
Pine
like,
Ridge,
imagine
pretty
how
close.
far. Well, that's another.
South Dakota.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very close.
I'm thinking of somewhere else.
I know. Pine Ridge.
Yeah, we live by Pine Ridge.
Oh, the Indian Reservation Canada.
Let's not like give out our personal location now, Manitoba, but I live in Sherman Oaks.
Of course. Sherman Oaks, California.
I'm thinking of the Oklahoma one. But
Who is cutting?
Here's the thing.
Just
That
come to
didn't
back
sound like that was coming from over there. That
was
sound-
over there.
Yeah, it sounded like it was coming from over there.
Well, that's because that's just his shop's that way.
But the previous one sounded like they were coming from over there.
I didn't. I always thought I'd heard.
I always thought I heard it from over there.
I think someone's in your shop going ham.
In the garage?
At 4:30 in the morning?
And maybe they're busy. Like, I gotta get this done.
Most home intrusions don't happen at 4:30 a.m.
When do they
It
usually happen?
happened midday.
Sometimes. I think usually it's like middle of the night. Like 4:30, you could end up going in some guys eating breakfast. You don't rob then. I don't rob houses, but that's my guess.
I'm guessing it'd be like 11. Maybe.
If I hear a door open
11?
downstairs,
Yeah.
I'm
If you want to roll old people's house, you go 8
I'd say maybe like 1, 2 a.m. would be like
Yeah.
the prime
I feel like
time.
more people are asleep at 1 or 2 than
Oh.
11.
I mean, someone's getting a midnight snack.
Did I ever tell you guys my dad once got his pickup stolen
No.
from right out there?
Um,
He had it parked right there, and he used to just leave the keys in the ignition because he just turn it on and go. And he just left the keys in. One day, he just got up and it was gone. And like, what? Where'd my pickup go? And they found it like 60 miles that way in like the woods. Some cops found it and they reported like, "Is this your car?" Like, "Yep." And they got it back. And he's like, the creepiest thing about that wasn't that I lost my pickup. The creepiest thing was that someone walked up our driveway, walked up to the pickup, and got in, checked if there was keys. We're like within 20 feet of where we were sleeping. Got in, turned it on, and left.
What they do, some people, they'll steal cars from like towns and stuff, and they'll take them to like just the middle of nowhere and just set them on fire.
Yeah, they burn them
They'll,
out.
like,
That's asshole move.
basically, like just have a party with just destroy all your stuff.
My dad also had something like that happen. But they were just glad it wasn't burnt out. But they had one where someone stole the pickup, and they were talking on the radio like, "Oh yeah, we're whatever," and trying to find I don't know where this pickup is. They find the pickup, and the radio has just been cut straight out, like completely. Like I think the people.
It's like a CB radio.
Yeah, the people.
Oh, probably because they could sell for like $60. Like, hey,
Well, it was a. Jane's getting spooked by something.
I
ham
thought I
radio.
heard a knock.
Oh, that was Jade. That was that guy.
Was it?
You moved. That was this thing. Anyway, go on.
Sounded like-
What was it?
Go on.
It almost sounded like it was on a window. Like I thought I heard a glass knock.
Oh,
Like
stop
a-
talking,
like a-
please.
Please,
I'm.
you guys aren't leaving till sunrise, okay?
I'm not kidding though.
Okay, Jack, what you said?
Um,
Stolen car? Ham radio? Was it ham radio? 'Cause
I'm,
those are-
I'm
those are
really
more
sensitive to
expensive.
stuff now because I'm listening and like.
you don't even have your
looking around.
headphones in on one side.
Yeah.
That was me. I'm scared to open those curtains.
Don't.
Junior's sleeping. Junior will notice. We should have Rusty in here. He'd notice. That guy's neurotic. My other cat, Rusty. That guy panics he'll notice a stray cat from 3 miles away and freak out and pee on our chairs. But what was I saying? Oh, it was a radio that they could only like use to broadcast amongst themselves. Every time I
Probably
look
ham
at
radio.
Jaden and he's staring off, I get scared.
It's a hammer CB radio.
Yeah, it was. I think it was.
They're pretty spendy.
Yeah, but the thing was that it was tuned in so only they could use it, and the way they cut it out, it was worth $0.
Oh, so they just did it just because?
Yeah.
Why?
They just
could
took
have
it.
just been listening to them.
And so
That'd be cool.
they thought it might be something like
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
terrifying.
that'd be
What?
scary. Like this dude's listening to you.
No,
guys.
he's listening to you. He's like,
Just-
he's like,
imagine he was like, "I got your pickup."
or he's like, I know where pickup is.
I got
And
your
you stop
pickup.
talking, you're like, the what?
No, but they thought. I mean, my thought,
bad.
thinking back, is I wonder if it was just some idiot who didn't understand how it worked and was like, "Oh no, can they track the GPS for this thing? Let me cut it out real quick
Yeah.
or something."
And take it with me.
Yeah, they found it with the radio cutting. Like, yeah, the thing that made me mad was I was completely disconnected. Another thing, my dad was mowing this stuff on a push mower. This is before we had riding mowers, and he was
Well,
just,
they
or no, he
existed.
was weed whacking. That's what he was doing. He was trying to do all this stuff. I was very young. My mom was also younger, of course. My sister was probably like young. My brother wasn't even born
were
yet.
they
I don't
young?
think. Very young, very young, very young.
I'm guessing your brother was young too.
My brother was not born.
Oh, so he's really young.
Really young. He was very, very young.
Very young.
So my dad was, weed whacking, and this dude, he just sees this guy kind of sauntering up in this weird way to walk. And he's like covered in like blood and stuff, and he's like, "Whoa!" And then my dad's like, "Gotta finish weed whacking. Gotta finish weed whacking." He's like, if I go up and just go up to the shop and say, "There's some injured dude coming up,"
To defend himself with the weed whacker, I'll make that more.
he knows that. Like, he knew. I think it was him knowing that like my uncles would be like, "What are you doing? Let's go take care of that guy. He's injured." But he was like, "I'm all by myself. Gotta finish weed whacking." And then the guy, and he's like, "Oh, the guy's coming too fast or whatever."
Was
Guy
he coming at him?
No, he's just like walking up, like whatever. And then the guy
Walking
goes
up like the driveway?
like up along the side of the road.
Oh, okay.
And then he got to my dad was like out in the corner here, and he gets to my dad and he's like, "Hey, do you have a phone?" And my dad's like, "No." And he's like, "Oh yeah, whatever. I need help. I was out drinking last night with my friends, and then I got super drunk and fell out of the car, and they just left me in the ditch. And so he was still like super,
I'm sure
on the influence of something. And so my dad goes, yeah, well, I'll get you help. And he's like, what do I do? He's like, phone in the house, but nope. My, 3-year-old and 7-year-old kids are there, and my wife is there. He's like, I'm going to take him to the shop. Luckily, my uncle was also there, and he goes, yeah, I found this guy. He's, bloodied or whatever. Okay, Junior just sleepily got up. He jumped up, and I was like, oh, no. And then he just did this little stretch, and he's chill. I'm like, okay.
You scared me that time.
Someone at the window. But then my dad and my uncle, they gave him a ride, and so my dad and my uncle talked like, yeah, well, we should probably go together and have.
What?
I don't like when you guys stare off because I get nervous because I have noise canceling headphones on.
Oh, I hit my glasses accidentally.
Okay. You guys have ear pods in. I have noise canceling headphones.
Just take them out.
I'm fine. But now I have no idea what my levels
What's that
are.
bloody boy doing?
Anyway, my uncle was like, yeah, we should probably ride together in case he tries something. So I think my uncle sat beside him, or they both sat in the front or something. And they drive him out to his house really, really, really far away, like 3 hours, like 2.5 or 2 hours away or something like that.
Oh, jeez. I would have been like, ambulance.
Yeah, sure.
They were,
Uber.
Just drop him off at a hospital.
I would have done that.
Well, no, it was probably like an hour away. I don't remember. But they get there, and then he's like, oh, yeah. And like, do you know how to get to your house? He's like, no. And then they're like driving along. He's like, oh, here it is. And they let him off, and he walks in, and he comes back out. You guys are so great, Do you want like a speaker? And they're like, what? Like, do you want stereo? And they're like, is this his house? And so they're like, oh no, we're good. He's like, I got a brand new TV. You guys are so good. He's like, no, we're good. And he's like, my dad was like, part of it he just wanted to get out of there,
yeah.
And part of it he was 95% sure that knowing this guy and what he had been doing,
probably stole it.
Yeah, pretty like 40% sure it was stolen goods. And so yeah. That was a weird sound. My cat mate.
He's good.
He's tired or he's nervous?
One thing happened with my dad and sister. They were driving up. It was stepmom, sister, and my dad. And they were driving up my driveway. And you know how I have that window that faces up towards the barn and shop?
Oh, don't tell me someone was in there.
What?
Don't tell me someone was standing in it. No.
No, you know that window?
Oh, there was...
No, window in my house.
Yeah.
It's in the living room. It stares out to the shop.
Yeah.
My dad both my sister and my dad look over, and they just see someone in there walk past and like, and like they're parked in the car, and my brother and sister, or my dad and sister, just sitting there like, what? You saw that? And it's like, yeah, you saw. I don't want to go inside.
That reminds
me of a story. It didn't happen to me, but it happened to my older sister, back at our old house. A while ago. A while ago. It was a very long time ago. Easily like 10 years ago. But like, she had just gotten out of the shower.
Yeah. And
like, she was going into her room, and her window didn't have a screen. It was just glass.
Ooh, that's not.
And I guess like, she like, I don't know why there was no screen on it.
Yeah.
But like, she opened the window, and there was just a homeless dude standing there looking in at her.
Oh, I've been like, oh no,
yeah,
goodbye.
Yeah, she didn't sleep in that room for like a week, and my parents called the cops. I don't know if they have a cop.
Well, yeah, you gotta, because
the dude was just watching her.
Rusty, want to get out? You getting hungry? You getting a little thirsty?
What's your deal now?
I don't know. I'm just jumpy now. We should probably start jumping into lighter topics to round out the podcast and also lift our spirits before sunrise.
This cat, great cat.
But anyway, that's where I was kind of going with these stories. It's a little creepy.
Oh, one more thing.
The cat got scared of the door, and I started panicking.
One more thing.
We must protect Junior at all costs.
I had this little thing of when I would like. I had like a
Someone else is awake. They're the first line of defense. They're on the other. Look, if somebody breaks in, they're going up the stairs and they're getting to that room first. We're safe for like 10 more minutes. Luke, is that you? Luke was probably just making all that noise. It was nothing.
By the way, battery check. I'm at 33%.
That's probably all right. We're gonna be done soon.
Yeah. All right, one little thing.
14 minutes. No.
I had this little thing of when I was sleeping my little.
Luke, protect us. I'm putting the headphones back on. Yeah, keep continuing.
Luke, go back to playing Minecraft.
Luke, go play Minecraft. We found an ender ship if you want to join us later.
Anyway.
You guys aren't leaving until the sun comes up, I swear. To God.
There, I would sleep downstairs because there's this fish tank in the bubbliness. It was like white noise basically, and I would just sleep down there, and I got like I get a little thirsty.
Did you drink from
No,
the fish tank?
no, we had a little Culligan thing. So I get up, I like look in because the kitchen light was on. I look like at the kitchen light and I see someone walking in. I was like, oh, my dad's there. I walk in to get a glass of water. There's no one in there. It's like,
My sister.
So I went upstairs in my bed.
So,
my actual bed. I haven't slept
My
anywhere
cousin
else
now
since.
lives right next door, right? Before that, it was just empty for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there was basically a bunch of coyotes living there. So we'd snowmobile by, and all of a sudden we'd see a bunch of coyotes hanging out. Oh, no. But... So my sister was always like, I would always like stand at the edge of there and I'd be playing in the sandbox and I'd look over and I'd see some tall, dark dressed person just staring at us from over there.
What's going on?
And so then she's like, I didn't see it for years. And she told me all this because we were snowmobiling out here at
your sister.
my sister, yeah.
Okay.
We were snowmobiling out here at like late at night, and we were just having fun. We're like, yeah, we maxed it out across a smooth piece of stuff, not too far away from home, right there. And she like goes, we gotta go back. I'm like, okay, you're spooking me up. We're going to go back. So we go back. We park the snowmobile, come inside. She's like, I saw one of those dudes. I'm like, what dudes? And she's like, one you were going by for a second in the headlights. I saw this dude who I'd seen a couple times over there. And I was like, okay. Probably just her imagination because she was like, I was like 10. She was like 14 maybe. Or like, maybe I was 8.
Imagination going wild.
That's what I think it was. Same with... When I talked about that dog on 2 legs, it was probably just me at 4:30 a.m. driving along some 3:30.
Like, I was like, that squirrel looks funny. It was
yeah, could have been just a dog, could have been a man, could have been a homeless person trying to watch me shower, like Jaden's
Dog man.
Peter. The dog man video is the funniest thing. I'm so mad we don't have video just so we can show that. Okay, the tail from Junior popped out beneath your arm, and I was like, "What's coming out from under the bed?" I'm too jumpy.
Actually, okay. There's this one.
I don't like this. Where
No,
it's
this one's
under
fine.
the bed.
We were in Duluth,
Under the
and my
bed.
sister was home, and we had this like pull-out couch, and she was like folding laundry, and she dropped a sock, and she leans over to get it, and looks under, sees her own foot, and scares herself, and she called my dad crying because she scared herself so bad. She thought someone was like standing behind her,
The cat one.
but it was just
The cat one's
that's
up,
so
I think.
funny.
You want to just crack the door?
All right.
If you don't make it back, we'll leave a little eulogy. Got the knife on you. The ghost! I said he would open the door. If you kept that cat in here, you probably would have pooped on the floor.
Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
you gotta let him out.
Yep. Usually when we finish one of these, I'm like, gotta take a nap. And I'm like, jittery. But knowing that Luke's awake, he probably caused 98% of the noises we heard.
He's just starting sound stuff in his
But I
room.
can't explain that sound we heard like 10 times.
Ah, well.
Anyway, you talked about scaring yourself with their own foot. I have someone else's story again. Not my own, but someone was like, they're sleeping on their arm like this, and it fell asleep,
Oh, I thought someone else was touching him or something.
and they woke up, and they were like, they
Oh.
woke up, and they felt this cold, like, lifeless arm, and they were like, yeah, and then they're like, and they're like scrambling, like, there's something dead in the bed, there's some demon in the bed, and they turn the light on, like, oh, it's my arm, I fell asleep on it, and it got cold because there wasn't enough blood flowing.
Oh, that happened. That like, not the situation with the whole me
Yeah.
freaking myself out, but it happened to me where I was laying on my arm. I don't know how long, but I woke
I
up
heard this one.
and it's just ice cold. Can't move it, and I was like, I hope it goes back to normal, or else this is really gonna suck.
I usually wake up before then. I was like, my hand's like, oh, my hand's tingly now.
I sat
No, my
cross-legged
hand
for
wasn't tingly. Had no feeling in it. Couldn't feel any like if I hit it, wouldn't feel
Yeah.
that. Couldn't move it. I was like, huh.
I sat.
I'm gonna lose my
good.
arm today.
I was sitting cross-legged
No,
in
I
like
lose my
in
arm.
that corner of my room back when that was where my desk was. For the audio listeners, you'll
You just
definitely
do.
get this. I was sitting there for a
Safe
while
corner.
watching like Men in Black videos on my tablet as like a 12-year-old kid. That has nothing to do with the story. But I was sitting there with my legs crossed for like hours, and then I get up to walk, and it had just started to wake up, and you know how your leg is supposed to be like this?
Mm-hmm.
My knee, when I stepped, my ankle just like kept going forward. I just like couldn't stop, and I kept going from like, whoa. Just couldn't feel my legs. I didn't know what muscles to use.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love when my limbs fall asleep and I can't feel them.
How about them
Like
aliens?
a quadruple amputee.
Instead of talking about home intruders and beings in windows, let's talk about something a little less creepy. Aliens.
I don't know if that's less, but all right.
You know what's weird? I sleep up against a window.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I'm
you?
going to bed, I'm like, I could wake up and be falling out that window tomorrow.
What does that have to do with aliens?
I'm on the second.
I just thought about that because aliens could
I'm on the
slide
second
me out.
story. I always open. I always have my shades closed because I would never look up and there's like, I don't want to wake up and someone looking at me.
And you know what
You
we...
live on the second floor.
Exactly.
What's gonna be looking at you?
Jaden,
No, that
that's
w-
exactly the point.
Jaden, something looking at you from the second story would be the freakiest thing, especially
you
if
just
it's like from the top corner. That
Oh
would mean
my
it's
God.
crawling on the wall or it's a floating head,
Here's the thing.
like that cabin story
here's the
from
thing-
Minnesota.
That your whole second floor thing
Mm-hmm.
is creepy. I sleep in the basement.
Ooh, you're
my,
dumb.
It's your choice.
my windows don't have shades. So
Wait, you've got the little.
You have that little
Wait.
thing. What if you just see someone in there? Can you help me?
Wait, do you have like the little
Like
window?
the
Or do you have the
like the
big
mice.
ones? Or the
Big
window
ones.
Ooh,
Like-
you're done.
yeah, like every night I'll just look up there just in case there's something there. Like I swear to God, I'm going to start sleeping with my AR-15 next to me, in case I see something. I'm gonna blast it.
I always usually have like a knife in my bed. It's like,
Sometimes I'll be like laying in bed and I'll go, "There's something under the bed,"
if I'm sleeping,
and then
in
I
my,
just
if, I'm,
won't look.
if I'm sleeping in my
Oh.
bedroom,
Uh-huh.
I have 3 guns right next to me.
Yeah.
If I'm sleeping on my couch, which I usually am, there's nothing.
I
next to me.
usually do
I'm
sleep
gonna
with.
put a shotgun next to me from now on.
At my mom's house, I have like what was it? 5 cats.
Oh, I have
We
4.
had 3 cats, but there was 2 outside. And then the whole winter happened, and we're like, oh, they're definitely gonna die if we don't bring them inside. So we brought them inside, and we're like, we're not gonna put them back inside. They're cute. So now we have 5 cats.
Cute.
We're in 3 to 5 cats, and they're sisters, and they're in
And a dog.
no, my mom's house.
Oh yeah.
My dad's house got like 4 dogs.
What about
Plus
3?
a horse. That was my sister's.
I thought you had 2
Cool
horses.
guy.
No, one got sold.
Oh, what about the cows?
They're at their. My
What were,
sister's
what were
mom's
we
house.
scaring
My
that
dad's
one day with the firecrackers? The horses?
Horses.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'll be like,
On
I'll be
accident.
like.
We didn't
laying
mean
in
to
bed.
scare horses.
It's probably never been more scared in my life. I've been laying in my bed and like sometimes my cats will like jump up on my lap and be like, oh, kitty. So I'll be sitting there. I felt the cat jump on my lap. I was like, oh, cute. It's not a cat. I was, I don't like any of this that's going on right now.
The most scared. Speaking of his most scared, this is not. This is
Because
not.
it was like a significant weight.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
It was like it wasn't just you thought you felt it. It was you felt it.
yeah, it jumped up. I was like, oh, my cat. What was that?
But speaking
What's
of
going on
like
here?
the most scared I've ever been. This isn't like a scary story, but the most scared I've ever been was actually like probably a month ago. I was sleeping in bed. I wake up at 3 a.m. and I was like jolt upright, and for some reason my brain is going, "There's something in the room. It's pitch black. There's something in the room trying to kill you. You need to get up." And then my cat is next to me, and he jumps up because I jumped up.
Was it sleep paralysis?
I don't think it was. It might have been like at the beginning, but I was like, I woke up and then I jumped up like 2 seconds later, and I was like, there's something in the room to kill me. And I grabbed for my phone, turned the light on. It's like 3 or 8 a.m. and there's nothing here. And then I look under the bed and I look in my closet, look around, there's nothing here, and I'm like, okay. Don't know why that happened. I just kind of lay in
It's
bed
the
for a while, like.
cat.
I
What-
haven't had
what?
sleep paralysis, but I almost intentionally gave myself sleep
I've
paralysis.
had sleep
I've-
paralysis.
I've
I
tried to
almost
do.
intentionally gave myself sleep paralysis
Oh,
I've tried to do
almost gave
lucid
myself a
dreaming.
panic attack.
because I read it was like a thing about to get lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that
Yeah.
seems interesting. And like one of the steps was to give yourself sleep paralysis and then fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
or something
Yeah,
like
if
that.
you-
So I tried that. It's like just lay there, don't move, regardless of what your body feels like you should do. Like move around because that's a sign of like sleepiness or whatever. But you don't move, and your body will fall asleep. But you keep thinking about stuff, so that
Yeah.
way your mind will stay awake. But I started feeling like I tried to move. Like you're not supposed to move. But
Yeah.
I started moving my arm and it felt really heavy. I was like, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, well, what happens is. I
Have you
think
had
it's.
sleep
If,
paralysis?
what?
Have you had sleep paralysis?
No, but apparently happens to everybody
I-
on average twice.
I have. I've done it. It's been like once. I was like waking up. Some people have like they'll be like imagine things like someone's over their bed
yeah,
or
like a
something.
creature,
Or
whatever.
I see a little alien in the room.
One guy
The
said
sleep paralysis demons.
one guy had
Yeah.
frequent sleep paralysis, like almost once a week at least, and there was some shadowy figure in his room, and he's like, "Oh, it's sleep paralysis. Just gotta wait for it to go away." And then it slowly opened the door, left, slowly closed the door. He's like, that doesn't happen. It fades out of existence in the corner. And then he woke up, ran down the hall. He's like, and it's just some like teenage kid. He's like, what the hell are you doing? And the guy came to like spy on his daughter, but went to the wrong room or something. So he's like, I just thought it was sleep paralysis, but some guy broke into my house.
Well, I
so
had sleep
always
paralysis,
trust your gut. See if you can move first. If you can't move, it's sleep paralysis. You can run.
I was like freaking out. I was like getting up. I was like, okay.
What's gotta be?
I couldn't move. I was like, oh, I got up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay up. It was like 3 a.m. I was like, I'm gonna stay up the rest of the night. I'm fine.
I'm so glad that I've known about sleep paralysis before I experience it. Because imagine going through that and not knowing generally what
I feel like it's still
it is.
pretty scary to go
Yeah.
through it.
I mean, I've never gone through it, so I don't know what kind of
Yeah, neither have
things.
I.
It's the same
thank
thing
God.
of. Here's the thing. When someone once told me
The world's gonna roll me.
that they all said that, but they also said if you're in a dream and you're not and you want to know it's a dream and not real life, look into a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I almost did that, and I said that to someone else. If I was like, no, like if you look into a mirror they've like done it or whatever. They're like, if you look into a mirror in a dream, you'll see like horrific imagery versions of yourself. The same thing that happens if you hold
like
a mirror.
Picasso version of you, basically.
Yeah.
Except it's terrifying.
It's the same thing. Here's an experiment you guys can all do, including you.
I'm
at
not
home.
gonna.
I also want to say, oh, my vampire.
If you take a mirror and look into a mirror, and with a dim light, no light in the room, just a candle in front of you, for like 15 minutes,
Doesn't your brain just kind of get
Yeah.
tired of looking at that and
your
starts making
your brain
hallucinations?
starts making things up because it's such dim light, and your brain starts to try to figure out, okay, this can't be the same thing over and over, or something like that, and it just starts to like make up like weird illusions and stuff. And some guy said he did it for like a call. I thought you were saying. I just couldn't hear you saying, and you're
Like,
melting.
I don't think I'm gonna do
Yeah,
that.
I got that the second one halfway through, but we were like, I was like, is there someone in the room? But yeah, so some guy was like, I was gonna do that for like a college thing for a friend, and I was in it, and once I got to the point where my face started to not look like my face, I just dropped the mirror and said, sorry, I can't help you with this project. I'm done.
You can go F yourself. I'm
So-
done.
It was like a psychology thing, like do that, and then report on what every person you had do it sees.
Mhm.
And yeah,
It's like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
yeah, I don't
It's not
think
like that
that'd
would
be fun.
scar ya.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Rather not.
I remember reading things like, if you're a way to know if you're not. Like, here's a better way to know if you're dreaming.
Yeah, there are some other ways.
Try to
a book.
read. Because
Yeah.
apparently you can't read in your dreams, which
Mhm.
I guess I've never
Or
noticed that.
you can
Yeah.
you can read, like, know what a page says, but you can't see the letters. Like, you can know,
Oh, yeah.
this means go there, but you don't. But it's just blank.
Yeah, you're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, but it...
Wait a minute.
It's a page.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Have you
Another
guys...
way is to just like, I've tried this before. It works like 50% of the time. Just like think back, like, okay, do I remember waking up? Do I remember going to bed? Do I remember this stuff?
Here's the thing: when you're dreaming like that, like if you
Yeah.
have enough cognitive ability in your dreams to do that, you're practically lucid dreaming. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're actively thinking in your dreams.
I one time...
Well, I've had one lucid dream where it wasn't like I tried to get it. I was just like, this is a dream, and I was being like chased by some monster. I was like, this is a dream, and all of a sudden the thing like almost got to me, and I was like, where's this dream? What's he gonna do? And then it just disappeared, and I was like, and then I woke up. I was like, dang, I wish I could just keep doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I here's the thing about lucid dreams from what I've heard is that
Yeah.
when you're in control, it's really cool. But if it turns into a nightmare, it's the most vivid nightmare you've ever had.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure if you're like, well,
Because like you know you're in control, but you're just like
You're like,
feel
oh,
helpless.
no, I'm not.
there's like, there are apps to help you lucid dream that say like, this is a dream, and they say it so that you hear it in your dream. Some guy had used that, and he had gone up, went to work, and showered and shaved. He was at work, and all of a sudden he heard, this is a dream, and he woke up. And he did the same thing again, and he heard, this is a dream, and he woke up. And he did it like 7 or 8 times before he finally woke up and was able to shut the app off. And he's like, I've never used it again because that was such a living nightmare of going through the same thing and not knowing. He's like, still not sure if this is the real world or if I'm just going to hear this is a dream someday. He's like, I hope like, that would be
It's a
that would screw you up like Peter Parker in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
Happy, say something you wouldn't know. You bought a porno in Berlin.
You know how like the lucid dream, like when you're dreaming, like pinch yourself to wake yourself up.
Yeah.
I was like doing that. I was like, oh, this is a dream. Pinch myself. I pinch myself. It's like, why am I not waking up? And I started freaking out. I was like, and I woke up. I was like, I'm good.
Another thing I hear, like, if you want to have a lucid dream, is keep trying to imagine like a certain object, and then that you'll recognize. Oh, this is a dream if I see this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing like one like they have like a red ball.
Oh yeah, that's
you
like
see a red ball. Like, hey, this is a dream.
that's
Just
like
staring at a ball. Jen, what are you doing? I'm in a dream.
in Inception when they have their markers, and it's like you spin the like what Leonardo DiCaprio's character has the top you spin. And I haven't watched the movie in a while, but if you the top falls if it's real and stays up if it's fake, and then the very last scene it's spinning and then it goes to black. So you don't know if his end reality is real or if it's a dream he's having, or like a fake reality.
I also have a couple of dreams where it's like, I'll have like a gun, and I'll be like something chase me like bam, 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 and then it'll turn to like bubbles or something, like the Chris Pratt thing where like the guns turn bubbles. Like no, and I'll be like, oh, it's a dream.
You know the
And I'll wake
best.
up.
You know the best dream. I don't know if you guys have this, but like you'll really mess up, like crash your cars. When I've had a few times because that one time happened to me in real life, or like accidentally kill someone or something, and you're like, oh no, I've ruined my whole life, and then you wake up. It's the greatest feeling to realize you're in your bed and you've woken up from the worst
I had the
outcome.
worst
You know what's
dream
funny?
lately.
Is if you think that's the worst, like in
Or that's like the best, like to
no,
wake
I
up from.
I mean, like in your dream, you murder someone.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit. My dreams are like messed up, because I'll kill people, and I was like, eh.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
my
I
dream.
remember
deserved
there
it.
was distinctly one dream where like someone knocked on my door and they came up and I started beating them with a pipe, and I was like, I woke up, I was like, all right.
Well,
what
I've
was that
done
all
some
about?
messed up stuff in my dream, but it's like there are the dreams that it's just like just I have no control. But like the ones where it's like I crash my car, or I kill someone, I'll just go, oh no, like this is actually me, and then I'll just go, I have to wake up, and then I wake up, kind of thing.
I actually did have a dream recently similar to like that, like where you're like you feel like, oh, I just messed up my life.
Yeah.
But it was not murder or a car accident. It was the cops were after me because I was in possession of cocaine.
Oh.
That's what my dream was. Like the cops were trying to arrest me because I had possession of cocaine. I was running from the police.
Be careful
And
not to
then
have
I
a
woke
dream
up-
like
Then I
Casey.
woke up and I was like, oh, thank Christ.
It was so just strange. I had a dream that guys could get pregnant. And I was like so convinced in my dream. I woke up, I had to like convince myself that it wasn't a thing.
That's like, you know what? I don't know why.
I was like thoroughly convinced.
But-
I had like look it up. I was like, okay, I don't think so.
I had one recently, and it was just, I think it's just because they're small things. Like, I hit a guy's door with my door, and he's like, I'm an insurance company and stuff. And then I woke up, and I was so relieved, because that's like a thing that could actually happen. Like, if I
Something
beat,
that's so
if I beat some poor guy to death, I'll be like, I would never do that. But if I bump some guy's door, I'm like, oh, that could happen to me today in a parking lot.
Pretty sure I had a dream one time where I performed a satanic ritual, but that was weird. Like, I just remember stabbing someone and doing something blood.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
It was a weird dream.
Ooh, I've had a couple.
I've had some dreams that are very odd, but I don't dream very often. I dream maybe like once every like 2 or 3 months at least.
Mine's more like maybe once every 2 weeks. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll have a dream.
Well, I think it's just either I don't get deep enough sleep to dream, or I just always complete the cycle. Because if you're woken in the middle of a sleep cycle, you remember the dream. But if you complete the cycle, you don't remember. So maybe I just have good timing, I guess.
There was a time in my life where it was like after like I watched the Tremors months straight. There was this mountain I had to like I was just like sliding down. I had to avoid all the Tremors worms for weeks straight.
Speaking of
It
sliding,
was
can we all
the worst time of my life.
mention? Hope everybody else agrees. Running in nightmares is the worst.
Oh yeah.
Because you trip and fall and slip and
I had a
slide.
werewolf.
You know,
And you
I've
can't
been-
stand up straight for more than like a foot.
Here's the
and the
thing.
other guy's just walking slowly up behind you with the knife, and you're just slipping and sliding and whatever.
I think I've only had one dream in the case where I was being chased by something,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like I kept falling. I could run just fine. But it's that no matter when I look back, it'd always be the same distance away from me.
That's like, what was it? Sam Bash's dream of Chucky chasing him up the never-ending stair.
Oh yeah, the stairs.
And he'd just sprint as fast as he could. He'd look back, it's 2 feet behind him. He'd slow down, he'd look back straight behind him. No matter how fast he ran or slow he ran, he's here and Chucky's one step behind him with the knife
Yeah,
like,
it'd be
to his
like
back.
no matter how far I went, I'd look back and it'd just be the same distance away, just coming towards me, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right.
Mine's a werewolf.
Mine is like,
slime monster.
mine was just like a
werewolf.
shadowy figure with a coat on.
Mine was a slime monster.
He's just the Invisible Man. He just want to give you.
Think of what was that one movie about like the aliens and like there was the one chick that got really big? Think of the blue blob thing but green.
Oh,
that was what was chasing me.
Monster vs. Aliens.
Yes.
That's a good movie.
Think of that blue blob except it's green. That's essentially what was
Yeah.
chasing me in my dreams.
I got scared once because I read Goosebumps book once.
R.L. Stein,
It was,
scaring kids.
One of the slappy ones. The
Seal.
puppet.
Slappy the
I
Seal.
think I know what you're talking about.
I think so
I
too.
haven't read it, but I know what you're talking about.
I was scared for like an hour and I was like, oh, it's a book. All right, I'm going to bed.
They had nightmare.
I don't think I've really had, like, not to jinx myself, but I don't think I've had very many nightmares as of lately.
Ooh, gonna have a night.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I don't want to jinx myself, but I think I already did.
Yeah.
I think the closest thing I had to a nightmare recently was the whole cocaine thing. Where I was being chased by the police. Because I remember waking up and I was like...
What was your guys' first dream?
What?
What was your guys' first dream?
Do you remember your first dream?
I think what I remember my first dream is.
Lord,
I
don't
remember.
It was me and my dad. We were in a jungle, and there was this monkey. And my dad, I don't know, like shot at it or something.
I see.
And we followed the monkey to this guy, and it was just his house, and it was full of monkeys.
I remember my first dream. I remember my first
monkey.
big like dream I remember was in like it was the first dream that I fully remember to this day that I can recount is it's one that I think of every once in a while. It was like at our school when I was in elementary school. I was maybe 5th or 6th grade, and there was this like crazy dude who was like making this purple gas pump out of all the vents, and all the like weird stuff was happening.
It's like Mr. Manhattan.
Like Scarecrow?
Maybe. But he had like zippers all over his suit
Like
and
Scarecrow?
stuff. And he might have had like a zipper on his face or something. And I was like, oh no, bad news bears. And
Brightburn.
Brightburn. And so I grabbed, and so for some reason, I looked at my drumsticks because it was in school. Of course I had drumsticks because that's what I do. And all of a sudden, my brain goes, these are weapons. And I flip a switch and blades come out of the end. And I go and fight the bad guy, kill him, and I become the hero of the school. Like, that was a nightmare that became a good dream.
You're a hero. You wake up, oh.
I woke up, you ever have those dreams just like, yay, my life's so good? And you wake up like, okay. Things are good, but not that good.
It could be better.
You have a dream that, I had a dream I was super rich, and I was like driving a Lamborghini, and then I woke up, I was like, oh, never mind. Or when you're little, and you have those dreams about like an awesome toy, and then you wake up,
That just reminds me, like,
That doesn't even
this
exist.
is kind of dream related, but like, when I was younger, I was really into Pokemon cards.
yeah.
And every time I got like a new set of Pokemon cards, I'd always like when I was in the store, I'd be like, I hope this isn't a dream. Like I'd say like almost every single time I got new Pokemon, I was like, I hope this isn't a dream and I actually have these.
Sometimes,
That was just a consistent thing I do, and I'd be like, I don't know why I did
Your
that.
brother just went in your room and stole them, and you're like, oh.
one time I had, when I was in like 2nd grade, I just kept waking up from the dream over and over again. I'd wake up, go through my life, screw it up somehow, wake up, go through my life, screw it up, wake up. You know, and it happened 8 or 9 times where I woke up in my parents' bedroom. I'm like, is this real? And to this day, I don't know. Maybe I'll wake up and I'll be in 2nd grade again.
Oh, I just remembered something.
What'd you remember?
Back in my old house, when my little sister was younger, like I think she was maybe kindergarten or something like that. There'd be nights when she would get scared, and she had like under her her bed there was like her bed, and then below that there was like a pull-out mattress type thing.
I don't
It
like
was really weird. But if she got scared, my parents would make me like sleep on the pull-out mattress in the room.
Yeah.
And there was one night that she was scared for a reason. It's not related to what happens later on, but like she was whatever. I was in there. I don't remember exactly why. But then like she has like a closet that she keep the door open and have the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well, she was scared, I guess, before bed, because I went in there like when she started to go to bed or whatever. And she goes to turn on the lights, and inside her closet there's like a coat, like a hanger, like hangers on. There's just like a baby doll hung from its neck in there, and we both freaked out. Went to my parents' room, and my mom accused my older brother of doing it because he's kind of an ass, and he claimed it wasn't him. He claimed with all his being that it wasn't him, but like
him faking his death, I'm sure he did that.
I'm pretty sure
he
it was
could have
him,
done that, yeah.
But still, it was really scary.
Yeah.
Until you mentioned the older brother, I was like, hold on.
He's told me some stuff about his little brher. I wouldn't.
Well, yeah, I've heard about the
My older
cars.
brother's,
Not the cars. He's
done
Other
some
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
Not really, some illegal stuff.
Snowmobiles. Guess what?
What?
I saw this video the other day of these
I've
snowmobilers.
seen a snowmobile before.
Me too. I saw this video the other day of these guys snowmobiling through the woods at night.
No, that sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden,
Tree out of nowhere. Bam.
their dog starts going, rah, 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 starts sprinting
Bigfoot.
ahead.
Wait,
And they're like,
was it their dog? Or?
yeah, their dog.
They brought
Their dog
runs.
Their dog's running along
Oh,
with
okay.
him. My dog used to do that. My dog can run like 50 miles an hour with his little
Just
legs.
having a leash is just dragging along with it.
And then the dog
He's
is
like, it just
running.
kept barking.
They weren't going that fast, but the dog runs ahead, and they're like, "What's the dog barking at?" And they go a little bit further, and there's some, like, there's two videos, kind of like this. I'm trying to remember which one this is. It's just like some figure that jumps out and is like "Roar" at them, and they drive along, and they just get out of there like, "What the fuck?" And then there was another, and there's two videos. One of them, I can't remember what the snowmobile one looked like, but there's another one of these guys walking deep in the woods, and like, we've never been this deep. At night, which I never walk in the woods at night. I don't even walk in the woods during the day anymore. I used to when I was little walk through the woods and then I hear scary stories in the woods. That woods that I live by is maybe 60 feet deep. I don't even walk in that. You can see from one side to the other, and I ain't walking in that. But they're walking.
Why'd you do that?
I know.
It was him.
Keep going.
I know, but I'm
He's trying to
just
spook people.
stop. We're walking, and then
Christopher walking.
all of a sudden there's some dude who like runs out and he's like, "Rah!" He's got like some weird like thing, like shirt pulled over his head and something else, and he just looks deranged. And that was like, they run out of there, and so someone's like, that guy probably had like a little hideout, and he just ran away. He's like, "Don't go near my house. I play Minecraft."
Probably a homeless dude.
Down my fort.
Almost did try and watch your cousin shower. Jaden, may I ask what battery percentage you were at?
24.
Okay, we're good. If it drops below like 15, we gotta run and grab that charger.
Do we need to keep this going? We're already at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I think we're good.
We can hit 3 hours, I think.
Um,
I got more stories to tell.
if you want.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's
We're
keep
gonna
going. So anyway, as we said, there's this one. This one I tried to tell like 50 minutes ago. I forgot about. We're talking about houses or whatever. I don't remember what. But there's some guy on Reddit who just had like this, like, "What's your happy place?" I asked Reddit. Some guy's like, I own this house and I built this bunker. It's full of all this cool stuff. It's fully furnished inside. It's nice. It's got heating in there I built in and solar power and all stuff. The hatch is a little hidden. I built it just in case I need somewhere to like go if the house, it's just something cool to have. And then he goes, I had to sell the house because I fell in financial hardships. And then he's like, I just started living in the bunker in the woods. And he just lived there for a while, and it's on the property that the new people bought. Because I lived there for a while. Now, he goes, I'm at a position where I can buy a new house, but I just don't want to leave this bunker. It's my little perfect little hideout. Someone's like, imagine being the homeowner. Like, this is a nice little story if you found your perfect little place to hide. But imagine that homeowner who doesn't know you're living on their property, and one day is going to come across that little manhole in the woods
He's just, what the heck?
and get freaked out. Like, that's that one Reddit thing of, I'm currently staying at a friend's house where they find the bookshelf, and they open it as a staircase, and then there's all the candy wrappers and stuff in there. Like, that's what's going to happen when these people find that bunker.
If that was my property and I just found a bunker, I'm definitely going to explore it, but with a gun. Just because you never know what's going to be down there.
For sure. Some guy playing video games.
Go away.
Well, like, you guys, I assume you guys have obviously seen this video because it's really popular, or really, like, famous, I guess. But, like, the dude who... He'd wake up and like stuff like food from his kitchen would be like missing.
Yeah.
And it turned out there's like a lady living like a crawl
she
space
crawls
above,
down.
Like, the
She crawls
thing.
down. She like jumps down onto the table and then onto the floor.
Yeah, and like
drinks
and, like,
his milk and eats
and,
his
like,
food.
He set up a camera and he caught her doing this. And like
And
there
then-
was like he like
Yeah, there's a point where he walks
wakes
in.
up and walks into the kitchen and she like hides behind a couch. And
Yeah.
He goes like does
I
it,
saw-
like,
I
drinks
saw
water,
the same
and then he
thing
walks
like
away and
that.
she climbs back up.
Yeah.
I saw the same thing like that, but it turns out like this guy was like, all my food keeps going missing. So he does the same thing. He sets up a camera, and it turns out he just gets the midnight munchies and starts going down in his fridge.
No, but this dude had like a random
Yeah.
lady living in his like loft, and like
Yeah.
like you saw, he called the police, and they found like they went in there, and there's like wrappers and like bedding and stuff like that. Like, this lady had been living there for a while.
Yeah.
And then she like
I used to pay rent.
and like she went like peed in the sink and stuff like that.
Yeah, she went pee in the sink. And
just-
then,
what
but
is
the
wrong with the
creepiest thing is,
sink?
he got up, poured himself a glass of OJ, started drinking in the middle of the night, and she's like 4 feet away from him
Yeah, she's
behind,
like
this,
hiding
behind this table,
like
behind
a
this
table or
couch.
like a couch, like
Yeah.
right behind
It's
him.
my OJ.
Like she could have murdered that man if she wanted to.
Well, she wouldn't, because then she wouldn't have a...
Home.
she
Yeah,
wouldn't have anywhere to
basically.
get her food,
Exactly.
but she
Yeah,
could
that
have.
stuff's
Little
freaky
parasite.
deaky. Imagine
No,
that.
it was so scary when I watched it. I was like,
Imagine that. Imagine living through that.
I would move. Like I don't even care. Even after they caught her, I'd move.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
for the fact
I'd be
that-
like, how dumb do I have to be to not hear or see anything.
She like when the video went of her like climbing out, she was very slow as to not make any noise.
I would have been like, watching that. I'd be like,
Yeah, once he's gone, she goes, but she's dead silent. She like moves. She gets on the table, moves the chair she used to get up back, climbs up, moves the grate.
I've seen this before.
Climbs in. We should pull the video on here.
No.
Have fun sleeping.
Imagine just like you're like, all right, now you're up there. Boom, 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 boom.
But imagine if he's watching that.
She's lucky that the dude didn't have like a gun or something.
Yeah.
Because again, being me, if I saw that, getting the gun, going up there.
I mean, in my house,
I'm gonna force her out.
I do have a little thing. I have it upstairs. I have like a little attic thing. Like you guys know my bathroom up to my. Oh, you know my upstairs. You've been up my room. Use a little bathroom.
Oh, yeah, the little bathroom around the corner or whatever.
There's a little bathroom, and then there's a little door in there, like a little hobbit's door.
I don't like this story.
No, I'm just saying it's just
Yeah.
there.
I don't like.
So I could have a woman just living up there.
Yeah, a woman just living
hanging
there.
out, looking at me, me looking back.
How you doing?
Hi, Brendan.
Hey, thanks.
Hi, lady.
How are you doing, Brendan? Oh, I'm doing great. School is kind of hard today.
Thank you. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Good night.
You know, next time I can, with all these stories, next time I can, I'm gonna go buy more 5.56. My gun.
So I'm gonna be living in my attic. Actually, that thing's crammed full of junk.
I'm gonna just deck out my room, just floodlights.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make sure I have a couple shells next to my shotgun.
I would
Start pouring salt on the window.
I'd just leave all the lights on at night and be like, try it.
What would leaving the lights on stop?
I don't know. Maybe she'd think there's a party downstairs. Oh, you're going hungry.
If you
for
wake
It's
up,
not like
no,
music and,
all
like,
the lights
out while
on.
You're trying to sleep.
Yeah.
All the lights on means if one's off when you wake up, you're screwed.
Exactly.
Or it went out.
So you'd be like,
Or went out.
I kind of want to flip these to daylight mode now, but it's already too late.
What?
The lights. Hey,
I hear some chirpings.
wait a minute.
I'm not opening it.
What if the guys just was saw? How's it going?
Ooh, it's right outside.
Is red?
Yeah.
Like these lights were. Hey, if there's anybody in here and you're a ghost, I don't know. Turn that light on the overhead, or flicker these lights. I think we know how that happened.
I was just like, well, no, my phone's dead.
Yeah, what if you just go, yeah, my phone's off? I wanted to try and slide into it here on my computer and see if I could scare Jaden by just flipping through all the light colors. Be like, ooh, it's happening again. The first time was unexplained.
noticed you going like this.
Doing it. Just,
I'd be like, huh?
I think I noticed you doing something.
Hands up, guys. Who's doing it? I set it to rainbow. I don't know who's doing it. Yeah. Someone's going to hack into my house. Phone's up.
hack into your house.
That's not. No.
Well, do we have anything else to talk about?
I don't know.
I know I've got more stories. I'm just trying to think of them. Trying to give him a little
So
bit
is the
of
goal just to make
Oopsie.
this last 3 hours?
What?
Is the goal just to make this last 3 hours?
I want to make it
I
3
could
hours.
split it up
Huh?
to 3 different pods.
No.
Or 2 different ones.
No.
No.
No, it's one. One go.
One
Full
long.
length. And put the video at the end.
Yeah.
I will.
I'm going to watch that after we leave. I'm scared.
Well, I think this is probably a good time to call it
Probably.
a night, I guess, or a morning if you want.
Anyone have one more story?
No, I got
I
nothing.
don't have anything.
3 scary Fortnite stories, anybody?
We're scary boys.
How's Peter Kane doing? How's
I haven't been checking
Rick
up on
Unger
him
doing?
anymore.
I think we got a pretty solid episode. I think episode 1 was good. Episode 2.
I actually got one more.
Oh,
Hit him up. Hit or miss.
I guess they took the kids, huh?
We need to fill 12 more minutes.
Is when we were very little.
Oh, yes.
My mom had her house, and we only had one bed. Oh, no, we had 2 beds. Me and we slept in the same room.
Yeah.
Me, my brother, and my mom. Brother, me,
Mom.
mother.
Mom.
All right.
2
Mama
beds.
Mia. Pizzeria.
Yeah. and I was sleeping. I was conked out. And my brother is sitting there, and my mom's sitting there awake, and they're probably just talking or something. And they look over the doorway, and they see someone standing there, and like, you see that? It's like, yeah. And starts walking across the room and like through the wall, and like, yeah.
Okay.
Neither of us like that.
See, if one person
And
saw
then-
that, it's whatever. More than one person, you're done.
And then my mom said that she saw like a woman standing in the doorway. She's like, okay, and she put the cover over her head, and she took her cover off right here, She freaked out and hit me in the head with her cat because she had a cast on. She like freaked out and like smacked me in the head with the cast. And like the next morning, she was so like she's like, I'm sorry, hitting the head. I was like, what are you talking about?
Honestly, that's probably...
She drew a face of it, and I was like, I don't like that face, and I burnt it.
That's probably one of my biggest fears is just something being right in my face.
Yeah, it was like the door, cover face, open it, it's right there, just
Waking up to a cat right in your face.
Well, I'm used to that. My cat likes to sleep like right in my shoulder.
You know what though? Who was it? Someone on the H3 podcast telling ghost stories was like, I woke up from a dream. I looked up and there was a face in the ceiling of my bedroom as a little kid. I pulled the blankets over my head, gone. Pulled back down, right there on the ceiling still. He's staring at it. He does it again, and it's there. Does it again, and then it's gone. He's like, okay, hopefully that
You know how peekaboo works, right?
Hopefully that's just, some residual.
you turn over, he's just laying
energies.
inside of your bed, just looking at you.
I had a friend before I moved out here who told me a couple stories like this about his cat, about his house,
cat.
and how
Nice.
Jack.
he said
Sure. Yeah, Mom?
he said
Wait, you guys are in Fargo.
Yeah, right.
he said one time he was this cat.
He wants in.
I think he does.
I think that's the same one from before.
Should I
Who
let
wants,
the cat
who wants to let him
finish
in?
the story?
Go ahead.
All right, if I go out there and there's not a cat there, I'm gonna be scared.
Cat break.
I once had a ghost cat experience when I was like 10. Oh, it's the other one. Come here, buddy.
Is it now?
What? Nana. The third cat, Nana, the one that's not mine.
Little other cat.
Still pretty
You
cool.
protect us. But he told I think 2 stories, at least I can remember, about something like he had an Xbox and he said no one was in the room. It was in the living room, and he walked out, and he said no one was home, and then it just turned on randomly,
Mm-hmm.
and he's walked in there.
A cat?
I don't think he had a cat.
Because they tend to sniff.
I don't think he
Cats
had a cat at
get
the time
curious.
or something.
They can turn them
But
on
like
and off.
he's walked in and it's on, and then he told another story similar to the one thing where he said he was sleeping and he woke up and there's just a woman in his face.
Ooh.
And I'd be like, too close for my comfort.
Yeah,
That's
just
Wait, you gonna kiss me?
smoochies.
I've woken up to similar things. Like you wake up and there's someone in the corner of your room, and you're like, oh, that's my desk chair.
You look over, your chair's over there. Uh-oh.
One time I fell asleep with these lights on because I was playing Minecraft too late. Humble brag. I woke up and lights were on. I'm like, yo, who turned the lights on? And Luke's like, you didn't turn them off before you went to bed, idiot. I'm like, oh, duh. Yeah. One more question to end the show. What would you do if some guy came in here, stabbed you like 30 times, and then all of a sudden Game Over came across, and you woke up and you're like a 10-year-old kid playing a VR game in like Kansas?
So what, like the one
I'd
episode
probably
of
hate
Rick and
myself
Morty?
Yeah, like that's what I was hinting at, the Rick and
I'd
Morty.
probably say, I hate my life. I'm in Kansas.
What if you woke up and you were
Kansas
super
is
rich
such a mediocre
in California?
I'd say, I hate myself in
What if you woke up and you had everything you ever wanted? You lived where you wanted.
Oh, thank God! It's been a miracle. I love cats.
Yo, speaking of weird existentialist things, you guys remember that Reddit story about the guy who got hit by the football player at university and got knocked out, and he woke up the next day like, oh, whatever. Or he got back up from the thing, went on, married a woman, had a couple of kids, the idyllic life, picket fence, nice job, the whole nine. And then all of a sudden one day he's sitting in his room, all of a sudden a lamp looks odd, kind of like our lamp, my lamp earlier
I remember
today.
hearing this.
Yeah, this one. The lamp looks like odd, like almost like it has an off texture, like it's a video game texture. That's
unloaded
wrong.
texture. It's just
Yeah, like it's
the pink and or the purple.
Yeah,
and
like
black.
it's a loading texture. He just stares at it. He won't take his eyes off it
Download the
because something in him tells him if he takes his eyes off it,
Download Counter-Strike Source.
it's gonna be like back to normal as a lamp. He stares at this thing for like days, weeks, and weeks, and eventually his wife's like, "I'm taking the kids and bouncing, dog. Like you can stare at this lamp. I'm moving." he's like, "No, you don't see this lamp. It's wrong. It's backwards. It's upside down." And they're like, "Whatever." Eventually, he wakes up and he's in the hospital bed and he's still like 22, and it turns out he had just had like a prolonged episode in the hospital from the injury from the football player. He just got knocked out and he woke up. So none of all of that marrying and stuff was all in his
How long
mind.
was he out?
Like a couple hours. But the creepy thing is he says every once in a while he'll see his like son in the groups of crowd, in like large crowds. Like his actual son. He'll be like, call out to him.
Son,
and he can't hear him.
get away.
Well, like the whole thing is like you can't in your mind it can't build a face.
Yeah, you can't build.
Therefore,
Which,
like everyone in your dreams is someone you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because there are so many people I see in dreams that I've never met. But I'm sure I saw him like walking down the street somewhere, driving or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yeah.
Dreams, man. They
Happens.
get you.
Funky
Sometimes.
thing.
Funky thing. I'll tell you what.
Time to get funky.
It's time to get on it.
Do you guys remember that weird hoax about? Have you ever dreamed this man? He's been in 380 people's dreams.
Wasn't the whole thing like they wanted to see how far something could spread?
Yeah, but people actually have seen that guy.
What was
Probably
it?
have to see the picture.
Well, they've been like, I have this recurring dream of this guy, and he's just maliciously, I think that's the right word,
Wasn't it one thing-
chasing me down a hill.
Wasn't it, like one of the things like, oh, he's the face of God.
Yeah, the theory he's
like,
the face of God. There's a theory he's the common man or something like that. Just look up "Ever Dream This Man," Brendan. You'll find
Have
a
you ever seen
website.
that? Wait, have you not seen
Oh,
that before?
this guy?
Yeah. I don't like that picture.
Yeah, his picture is kind of creepy.
I've never.
You've never seen that?
So the
I've
hoax.
seen it, but I've never seen him in a dream.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. You've
Yeah,
seen, like, the
I've never
picture.
seen it in a dream either. The hoax is that it was out on a psychiatrist's like page because the psychiatrist has a sketch artist draw this guy from another guy's description. This guy keeps showing up in my dreams and stuff. He draws them.
Other cat? Question mark.
Is it Junior?
Luke. Scratching
Luke,
the door.
Minecraft.
Please be other cat.
Please be other crap cap.
It is.
They did a little trade.
Goodbye, other cat.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's the hoax was that is that psychiatrist's office, that sketch artist draws guy who keeps showing up in this other guy's dreams, and then a lot of people just kept on seeing him, but it was all hoax.
Yeah.
You know what else? You know the Unabomber? The sketch artist for that?
Yeah.
Like, you know the very famous photo of the first...
Like when he had the hoodie and sunglasses on.
Yeah. It turns out, like, she was just describing the guy, the actual sketch artist. Like, that wasn't the Unabomber. She was just describing the sketch artist. Like,
Huh.
that's like, how
Could you
proving
imagine,
how,
this,
how, like...
this?
Uh,
Hey, wait a minute. That looks an awful
No,
lot
this-
like me.
The funny sketch artist was like, the police have released a sketch, and it's just the crappiest little kid drawing. Like,
That was the one thing was like
this guy. This is the sketch artist.
But I love
Or,
that.
like, there's a picture of him and the sketch artist.
I love that
Nice.
one thing was like elementary school kids like drawing helps catch criminal. It's like this really really bad drawing. It's like someone photoshopped it running through like a hall.
Huh?
You just described him.
Did you know that?
This looks a lot like me.
Then they came out with this one.
I think he got a big forehead.
Yeah, no, they came out with this one. It's like, oh, that's the actual Unabomber.
Did you guys know that? Speaking of all that, speaking of like descriptions of criminals and stuff, the Zodiac killer got away because of an incorrect dispatch. So they go, the guy is like the guy who tried to kill me and killed this other. We saw murder this person.
Oh yeah, I think I remember.
Yeah,
hearing
he's,
this.
he's white, 5'10", brown hair. Well, the cops were hunting a black 6'2",
they-
235
Yeah, they
pound.
passed him on the highway.
Somehow
Yeah,
I heard-
they
somehow
drove.
I heard he was
They
a
went
black
right by the actual killer.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we just saw.
And the killer
wasn't-
sent a letter
wasn't it like-
saying, "Hey, your cops ran right by me, idiots."
Or
He
no,
goes
no,
San
was-
Francisco
He
Herald.
wasn't driving. He was just walking.
He was these
said,
cops drove right by
No,
me. I was walking.
he said, yeah, I was in the playground. You guys were too busy listening to your fancy sirens that you couldn't just come look around for me
Yeah.
or something like that.
He was right there. Zodiac.
You guys need
started-
to watch Zodiac.
Zodiac with Jake Gyllenhaal and
Yes,
Mark
Jake
Ruffalo, I
Gyllenhaal,
think,
Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr.
and Robert.
Jaden, you need to watch Zodiac.
Stop trying to climb up. He's investigating the lights. He doesn't
Jack,
like
you need
him.
to watch Zodiac. Let's watch it right now.
Right now, before you guys go home at 7 a.m. I said you
Yeah.
guys weren't going to leave until the sun comes up. It's been stalling a little
Is the
bit.
sun up?
Mama, look.
Why?
With chainsaw homies
What, are
out
you
there.
afraid there's gonna be someone out there?
Saw boy.
Yeah.
Saw boy.
It's still red.
What does that mean?
Baba Booey. No,
Yeah.
not yet.
Well,
Still
we
scary
need
outside.
we need to stall for another like 2 minutes.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yes.
What are those?
Have you ever had like basically a premonition, like something that you think happens, or you have a dream, and then like a day later, a week later, a month later, 10 years later, it happens to you?
That monkey one
No.
hasn't come true, so I don't know.
Wait, what?
The monkey one.
I've had like
So,
not
yeah.
not
I
full
haven't stabbed
on.
anyone yet, so nah.
I haven't had full on ones where I go, yeah, I knew this was gonna happen and it happened. But I've had ones where I'll be doing something like I've done this before, like 5
That's
times.
just deja vu.
Yeah, but still, it's like freaky deaky. I do know somebody. I do know somebody who has had premonitions like that, like continually.
Who?
The psychic from Lake
You know
Park.
who?
The psychic from Lake Park.
You know who?
What? I never heard. I don't know.
Isn't that you?
What?
On
No.
your background?
No.
The person who's actually my background.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
There it is. A special episode. 3 hours of spooky dooky, Scooby-Doo stuff. My microphone cut out at 3 hours, so did Brixton's, I think.
I'm fine. I got a cat.
Mine didn't cut out.
Jay's dog's over here on a MacBook from my house.
Yes.
Anyway, hope you enjoyed. We got more episodes, maybe a guest, but unfortunately, our microphone setup is not good with 3 people.
It's a little janky.
Good luck, including a 4th. Next time, we should hopefully have all this stuff sorted out. As you'll notice, the mics keep getting better. Now I can come out and go kiss you on the ear. This has been the Sterling Podcast. Anything else you boys want to get in edgewise?
No.
Let us know in the comments if you appreciated this spooky dooky episode, or if you want us to go back to clowning on Rick Ungar. Yeah, come back hopefully in a week, unless Dawson has to take another 17-day holiday.
Yeah, Jay.
It was 6.
6 days. All right. See you in the next one.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.